Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Jaguar, part of the Lookers family. Search online, order and choose home delivery or collection with Click and Drive. Super Scoreboard European football updates with Moyer and Sweeney Litigation. The top team for your defence.
It doesn't get much better than that, Gordon Dalziel. If you're not inspired, if you're not looking forward to performing in that stage, this can't be the game for you, because everyone across the world probably watching this, football fans, just wishing they could be a part of that.
Yeah, the lucky 60,000 inside Celtic Park must be really enjoying that. As Mark says, the atmosphere, the noise is incredible. The players just want to go on with the business now. I think we're in for an absolute cracking game of football, Gordon.
Brilliant start, by the way, from Celtic in a pressing situation. And
Celtic have got a corner, almost score inside 24 seconds into the path of Lila Bada. Lots of space. He tries to fire the ball goalward and it just takes a nick and goes just beyond the post. Celtic almost scoring within 24 seconds.
Well, I thought Giakoumakis should have spun and shot there first time, but he decides to lay it back, and so unlucky that it just hits the side net. But what an opportunity. Madrid wide open, caught short, much like Rangers were on Saturday. Celtic looking to take everything quick. I was just in the middle of saying that the press Real Madrid, so high that Courtois put the ball at the pitch, and Celtic got in the attack right away. But it's a promising start. What
that does is right away that gets as much as atmosphere, that gets a
another
crowd.
Corner to Celtic. They've had two corners inside the first minute of this match. They are going for it early on, Gordon.
Oh, brilliant. You can ask for, and look, it's nearly 2 minutes on the clock, but already two corners. Positive, front foot, looking to do everything very quick again. I've noticed that. Minute a corner kick, they're out there.
And the ball dribbles through to Courtois again. Celtic really on the front foot early on. But of course, the European champions, no less. And Courtois has just thrown it from his own 6-yard box across the halfway line.
He's in the wrong sport. Javelin.
In my day, I couldn't kick that ball that far. And he's just come out and thrown that ball.
Look, that's what Real Madrid are looking to do as well. Celtic set piece, breaks to the goalkeeper. He's looking to spring as quickly as possible. So, Celtic need to switch on. It's a positive start, but they need to switch on as well when they lose possession.
A positive start. I think it's been a brilliant start.
That's wonderful from Matt O'Reilly, but the ball was eventually nipped off his toes. I think Real Madrid took a point sitting off Celtic, Mark. It's not a right in your face press. They're almost kind of letting them get to about the halfway line and setting specific traps rather than going right at it.
Well, they'll know what they're doing. That's much a continental way. It'll probably be how they play back in Spain, that they'll allow teams to come to a certain point. Celtic might not be used to that. That's how every pass has got to be measured to perfection, because they're just waiting on that one pass that breaks down and then they go. And the guy Vinicius Jr. is the fastest player, one of the fastest players I've ever seen.
Their experience, a top team. They've seen what Celtic have come out the traps. All of a sudden they get the ball,
just knock it around.
They're knocking about, they're taking the pace, they're taking the tempo out the game.
They ain't bad. Look at that, because Celtic do press and Madrid just pop it for fun, and they're at the edge of the Celtic box already. And as the cross comes in, Carter Vickers has to clear it away. Mark,
you don't come up against that domestically for Celtic. I mean, 3 passes there, and was it Valverde is through. Greg Taylor's taking out the game. It's sensational one-touch football. That's what Celtic have to be wary of, because it's so difficult to get near them.
In my opinion, Mark, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares against the top tonight. I think Carter Vickers has been an absolutely magnificent sign for Celtic. And
here goes Vinicius. He's got a break of the ball, first of all, to get away from Juranovic, who does brilliantly to recover, but doesn't get it fully. And he's given a silly free kick away.
That could be a yellow.
That's a crazy challenge, Mark. Is that the Champions League night? Vinicius
that could be a yellow.
is facing the corner flag, running away, and Juranovic, second best, just dives in and wipes him out. It's a strange decision.
Silly. Maybe just the occasion getting to Juranovic. I mean, hugely experienced player, but at this stage it gets to you. And he's given away a free kick that Tony Cruz is standing over. I mean, we've seen Tony this guy letting these in.
I was going to say, this is a cross for most people, but remember there was one for Germany. Was that the World Cup?
Yeah.
And he stuck it right in the top corner, from this tight angle. So that's the level of opponent Celtic are up against. And after a very bright start from Celtic, you can see Real Madrid's quality in abundance. They have really stepped up in the last minute or two.
Yeah, that's experience. Gordon, they've watched what Celtic have come out, forced 2 corners very quickly. All of a sudden, they get the ball at the back, comfortable on it, knock it about, take the sting out of Celtic a little bit. Then a couple of passes. Now they're in a real good position. You don't want to give this team too many opportunities for this position of a free kick.
No, the delivery will be good, you would imagine. It's one off the training ground. It's actually fired out to the edge of the box and put back in for a second time. So Celtic do manage to deal with that. It wasn't the one that was getting whipped right on top of Joe Hart. It was something else, a bit more inventive, and the invention doesn't quite pay off. So Celtic will take that.
It was defended well by Celtic, because sometimes that's harder to defend against in the first phase. When somebody moves the ball, you have to adjust your full back line, and sometimes you get caught short, then the ball coming back in. I think it was Juranovic maybe at the back post that heads it away. So listen, a lively start. Celtic starting really quickly again, but you can just see Real Madrid, the quality their players have got, especially one touch. That's the difference.
And now they actually are going a bit more aggressive to press, Gordon.
Yeah.
Like Tony Cruz is wonderful, but even he's not known as this like absolute buzz bomb of energy. But he's the one there that's quick as anything, goes right on and nips it away before Juranovic can get it.
They read the game very well, Gordon.
What a pass that is from Rio Tati.
You have no idea how difficult that is there.
That is a Champions League quality pass from Celtic's midfield maestro, but unfortunately for him, his teammates eventually give it away. But the ball coming over his shoulder, he volleyed it out the other side and found Jota, who overdid it in the end.
Slack play from Jota. I think he's got to do better. It was great overlapping running by Taylor, but what a ball from Hatate. But this is where I think Celtic have got to manage the game. In the Premier League, against not players of the quality of Real Madrid, they can go and press and they'll get the ball back very quickly. If they use up all their energy, this team just knocks the ball by you.
Oh, Mark, it's incredible, because Ange Postecoglou's press is so well drilled. It's something Celtic do all the time, and they constantly do it, and they do it at high intensity. It's sometimes easy to forget that there's just a whole other level out there, that they are more than capable of finding a solution to that, and that's what they're doing.
Well, they use every player. They use the goalkeeper. If that's along the 6-yard line, so be it. They've got full confidence. But I'll say it again, it's a one-touch play at this level that's incredible, that you don't get the Premiership back home. Players will take an extra touch and allow you to get back in. At this level, they just pop it about like it's normal, and it is normal to these guys. So it's going to be a tough shift. That's why I highlighted those midfield three, Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor, because if McGregor gets isolated with Cruz and Modric and Benzema around him,
Tony Cruz
it's a long
is
night.
just pinging diagonals and finding teammates, but Celtic would take that. That's a sort of hopeful cross into the box that Carter Vickers heads away. They just can't get any respite at the moment though, because Real do have it, and these are the types of names that you're dealing with on a Champions League night. PSG 1, Juve 0. Kylian Mbappe, he's not bad either, and he's scored inside 5 minutes. Real want him. I've wanted him for a long time, but he's still scoring goals for PSG.
You just look at this team, Gordon, and we give some plaudits to Celtic the way they play football. Every single one of these players are so comfortable on the ball. There's no panic, there's nothing. They're comfortable, they know what they're doing. When Celtic get the ball tonight especially, they've got to take care of it, because if they don't and they give away cheaply, it's not a Premier League game. They won't get it back in 5-10 seconds. They'll have to run about to get it back, because this team will make them work.
And you can just see Moritz Jen sort of looking like, where is the option? To be fair, he eventually finds one, but Jota's given the ball away about maybe 4 times already. On one hand you get it, because he should try and play his normal game, brave and try and take people on, but he's not managed to really keep the ball yet. No, and that's maybe just the stage getting to him. He just needs to settle into the game. That's not going to be a foul. McGregor really good
does.
from Callum McGregor,
brilliant.
really tenacious, and unfortunately for him the pass just gets cut out. I think
the important thing for Celtic is they need to remember how they play when they get the ball. The pressing's different, right? If Real Madrid are that good, there's nothing you can do, but you need to remember that you're a good possession side. You can knock it forward at pace, and I think just now it's creeping in that maybe they're getting a wee bit spooked at the Real Madrid players.
Giakoumakis takes a sore one in the face. He goes to close Mendy down. He does catch him with an elbow. I think he's going to get into the book actually for that. For Mendy. What do you make of that?
A bit surprised with that. I think he's just got his arm up there protecting the ball. Giakoumakis comes in, catches him just below the face for me, Gordon, just in the sort of throat line. But the referee's seen enough in that to hand out the first yellow. And see, to be fair, that's good news, because I'd get Abada on the ball or Jota or whatever, get running at him, you know, put him under a little bit of pressure. But this game has got to be tactically brilliant for me, because it's a game that Celtic have never played in against a team that, when you lose the ball, you know you have to work very hard to get it back.
But keeping it's going to be so important, Mark, because actually there are still those, see the gaps that Celtic often find where they fizz that ball into Hatate or they fizz it into Riley. Those are actually still there, and they've done it a couple of times. But the problem is, if it goes in there and the touch isn't good, then, you know, Real punish you.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're so quick onto you, they just wait for mistakes.
And it does look like there might be a little bit of space behind their midfield.
Well, there is, especially the way Celtic's fullback's playing. Here's Juranovic on the ball just now. There is space, but Celtic need to be better on the ball. That's what's letting them down these opening 10 minutes.
10 minutes gone, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. That's the level of European football we've got to look forward to, and this is nice for Celtic. It's one touch stuffer into the box.
That is a fantastic opportunity.
Nipped away from Giakoumakis.
That is great football. You're talking about Real Madrid one-touch football.
However,
that was brilliant.
Here comes Vinicius up the other end, and this is the reality for Celtic. That's Benzema, the link-up play. Vinicius is on the edge of the box. He's just looking to come back in, and this might be trouble for Celtic. It's miscue, believe it or not, from Karim Benzema. He had a volley at goal that he scuffed. You don't see that too often.
And you don't say too often about Modric there in the edge of the box. I thought he'd do better. I know he get blocked, but I think he would be expecting to do better there. But I thought Celtic had a great opportunity minutes earlier, and then they go right up the park and cause problems.
I'm going to be slightly unfair, I suspect, on Giakoumakis, but I'll ask it anyway. Is that the one that Kyogo's 5% sharper?
Anticipates it, I think.
I think you've been unfair.
I think he does. I think
Kyogo is sharper than Giakoumakis.
Yeah,
though.
but
that's I'm talking about specifically there. Like, Giakoumakis is a very good player, but that real speed of thought around the edge of the box.
Yeah, I take on board. I think that's his game. I think that's his strengths. I just thought it was a good opportunity. This team are starting to knock it about again. See Van Postecoglou, I'm looking at a clock, 12 minutes. I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy the way Celtic have settled. Yeah. Hart's not had a save. You know, look,
corner to Real Madrid.
Van Postecoglou, I'm looking at the clock just thinking it's a long old 12 minutes that. I think Madrid are coming in and look very comfortable at the
Celtic
minute.
have done alright in spells.
Celtic have had a few corners as well. I think there was a great opportunity here for Giakoumakis. Abada had a good opportunity in your 12 minutes. You're against the European champions here. You know, don't be kidding. It's not a run-of-the-mill game.
Yeah, corner from Tony Cruz. It goes deep at the touch inside the box. Luckily for Celtic, there is a foul according to the referee. Celtic look to break quick, but Real Madrid get back quick. And I'll tell you what a pass that is though. And Abada could be in here. He shoots a goal, and it's a real opportunity missed.
No.
For Real Abada, astonishing counter-attack from Celtic. Abada's in, he's in the box, and it is the tamest effort that he will hit all season, and straight into the arms of Thibaut Courtois and the goal. What a chance that was for Celtic, Mark.
A sensational break, and what a pass from Jota right over the other side of the pitch, inside the left back. Abada, if that's a Premiership game, he's taking that in and slotting that away. I think he just rushed it, and it was such a tame effort.
Mark, honestly, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is that top
what
of the
a pass from Jota.
See, even to be fair, if he doesn't, I still look at him and think he didn't have the belief that he would have.
The first touch finish could still have been better, whether he takes another touch or not.
I just thought he lacked a little bit of belief for me.
Yep.
You know, he's a young player, he's playing in such a high.
That is excellent from Celtic again as they cross the halfway line, and Abada's going to get the chance to run into the box. Abada, a ropey start to the game.
Gordon, he's 20. He's caught up just now. He needs time to settle down.
How good a move was that though?
Brilliant. Again, I said earlier, if I'm Postecoglou, I'm looking at this and I'm delighted so far. But Abada just needs to take a deep breath. He's doing things very quickly. Listen, he's going to get caught up. He's a young lad. He's 20. He's never faced anything like this before in his life. But he just needs to settle down, wee bit of composure. But I think Celtic are doing very well.
Celtic have got into some unbelievable positions, Mark.
Yeah.
Against the European champions. But maybe, as Gordon says, that composure I mean, Courtois like now just pinging balls out to the halfway line to Vinicius, like straight to him. When Celtic go and press, everything about it is immaculate from Real. However,
for that,
they go and give it away, and Celtic are on the edge of the box, and Celtic have done not bad in these areas. Just maybe the final ball just breaking down a little bit.
that is the difference in the final third. Champions League. I said before the show, if you get some chances, you better take them, because Real Madrid will get chances. I think they've had about 3. The one Giakoumakis doesn't anticipate. Then you've got, Abada's one, and then again there. So it goes to show you, Celtic going forward can cut any team open. They have to have that belief going forward. They have to keep playing this way going forward, and they just need that wee bit of quality in the final third.
I think they've been positive. I really do. I think that you can ask for a better start. I think that some of the one-touch stuff's been terrific. They've got themselves into good position. The only thing that you can criticise Celtic just now for is that little bit of composure in the final third for me.
I mean, Joe Hart's 30 yards from goal, picking up the ball. Celtic are trying to do what they normally do, and Hatate's so comfortable with it. He's got 3 Real Madrid players around him. He just twists and turns until he finds that angle. What is it like psychologically, Mark? Did you can I guess say all you want before the game, but when that whistle went, did you feel at times when you get the ball, Giakoumakis tumbles in the box, ref's not having it? Did you ever have a moment, do you remember it, where you thought, this is Man United, or this is AC Milan? Or does that not happen?
No, of course that happens, because you're faced with the greatest players there is. So what always got me, it was the level of concentration you needed. So sometimes domestically you could perhaps switch off a bit. Your teammate was doing a job the other side of the park and you were quite happy. In these games, if you're right winger and I'm playing left back, if your right winger's got the ball, you are switched on, because it can just affect you like that. And I was always conscious of keeping the ball. That was the big thing, keeping possession. Domestically, you might try a pass, but see, when you get to this level, I always second kind of guessed. I always thought it would get to somebody better than me, get to Nakamura or something.
Give it to the other 10, really.
Not get to the goal.
However, I wonder, Ange Postecoglou's outlook, I'm not sure, would he go for that?
No, I don't think it would, and that's what makes this team so exciting.
It was Gordon Strachan, was that fine for him? It was about safety in these games first.
More pragmatic, much more about keeping the ball, keeping safe possession, give it to better players basically, which I did. But this Celtic team, are playing wide open when they're attacking, which is making for a great 17 minutes.
Really
so far.
Confident from Celtic. Jens is stepping out and trying to, he's kind of eliminating Madrid players and then pinging balls into teammates. Gordon, there's a lot to like about this from Celtic. They're just up against a wonderful team as well. In 17 minutes gone, it's goalless.
And I've got to say, I think they're a better side by far. I think they've got out the blocks. Everyone's had a sort of settled in now. I did say earlier about Abada just taking a little bit, and we can understand a young lad, never played in a game this size before, but he's certainly a talent. I think Celtic have started brilliantly, Gordon. I really do.
Yeah, it's just the speed of thought, Mark. You see McGregor goes to thread one, which he'll be encouraged. Modric just reads it, they try and go, and it's a good recovery from Carter Vickers to sort of one of those ones where it's completely clean, but you take a little bit of Vinicius as well.
Yeah, I think Cal McGregor caught out there with Modric, but I think the Celtic midfield are doing every bit as well to the Real midfield, setting little traps.
Well, again, sorry to interrupt, but it's because Celtic have come forward again, and Hatate had options and he
picked the wrong one.
Well, do you know what? I wonder if he was just caught in between the both of them.
I picked the wrong one.
What one did he go for there?
I think he went for the runner in the middle.
I actually don't think he did. I think it was that bad a pass to
I think
Abada.
he's miskicked that.
Do you think so?
He was kind of looking at Abada coming in from the right.
Alright, okay. Well, I apologise for that. Mark said one apology, I'll take one. If it is, then he's picked the right pass but just didn't execute it.
Yeah. Some start, 18.5 minutes gone. Celtic have done really, really well. Some nice stuff. They are up against Real Madrid, so as you would expect, there's some nice stuff from them as well, and it is goalless at the moment.
Do you know what I think's a positive start? I'll wait till this attack's finished, but we talk about the strength of Real Madrid, especially at front three. We've not really seen a lot of them. Benzema's probably one of the best strikers in the world. Has not really been involved in the game, but we all know you never switch off, because if you do, he'll punish you.
Tell you what, Giakoumakis is 1-on-1 here at the back, but Real Madrid are Confident, to say the least.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with
But
that.
do you know what? They've gone and turned and just put it out for a throw in.
Nothing wrong with that for Greg Taylor. He's in his corner flag. He's been pressed by Modric.
There's that quick throw in from Celtic, and it nearly pays off. It was exactly the same as the one at the weekend, and this time it goes out for a corner.
How strange is that? I mean, I wonder if that's something to work on. Throw into a Riley who goes to hook it over his shoulder with his left
so
foot.
similar to the weekend.
So similar. And speed of thought again, magnificent from Celtic. Another corner.
Yeah, Matt O'Reilly's just going to outswing this one right into the area. Courtois is massive and he stretches out one of those hands. Hatate strikes it right at Courtois, has to punch it away. Celtic are really turning the screw here. It's incredible. Against the European champions, Greg Taylor turns in the box and it's hacked clear. Real Madrid defending somewhat desperately. Things you never thought you would say.
I've got to say, anywhere else, that is troubling the goalkeeper. Fortunately for him and unfortunately for Celtic, it's right down his throat, as they say. But what a start for Celtic.
Celtic are in the box once again. It's edges. Callum McGregor has smashed the post. Celtic are inches away from taking the lead against Real Madrid. The Celtic captain rifled it with the left boot. It comes off the inside of the post and it fires across Courtois' goal and away to safety. This is a stunning start from Celtic. You just wonder, Mark, if they need to make it count.
Yeah, unbelievable football there. You know, up to Giakoumakis, does what he's in the side for, holds up, beautiful layoff. And McGregor, how unlucky is he? Left footed, controlled, getting in the top corner, inches away off the inside of the post and across the box.
Should be in front easily here, Gordon.
They deserve it. They deserve a goal. I think they've been absolutely brilliant for the 20 plus minutes, Gordon. You can't get any closer, and that's great link up play. I know people say about Kyogo, I love Giakoumakis. I think he brings something different. He's hold up play, his work rate, he can score goals. I just think he's very unfortunate that probably if Kyogo's not there, he's certainly the number one striker. I think he just adds something to this Celtic side. I said that after 12 minutes I had a wee feeling Postecoglou would be absolutely over the moon now, but they've just got to concentrate because you're playing against a good side. But Celtic are showing them, you know, they'll show them respect, but they're showing they've got a lot of belief in their own ability tonight.
This is what you're dealing with midweek. These are the names that roll off the tongue. Mbappe scored for PSG. Erling Haaland has just scored for Man City. Benzema's on the ball. It's Benzema, Haaland, Mbappe, Wilson, DL. These are what midweeks were made for here on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. And this is what we've got to look forward to. Celtic have got a full group stage campaign. Rangers have got a full group stage campaign. Anytime they kick off at 8, we are here until 11 o'clock. So Celtic fans, you'll be behind the couch, you'll be enjoying what you're seeing, but you'll be nervous, I'm sure. And when it's all said and done, pick up the phone and let us know how you feel.
Well, no matter how this game goes, I think the Celtic fans that went along the night and watched 20 odd minutes are pretty happy with their decision so far, because it's lived up to everything they expected. They expected to go and challenge Real Madrid, and they've certainly done that. Daz is right. Celtic have been by far the better side, had the better chances, but for a few inches should have been ahead. It's a beautifully controlled strike from McGregor on his left foot, inside of the post.
Mbappe scored again, by the way.
You know when it's such a good strike, a world class goalkeeper ain't moving.
He's just looking at it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just hoping
he sees
hits
it on the
post.
way back out.
Yeah, he just hopes it hits the woodwork
again. That look, Celtic are actually suffocating Real Madrid. They were in the box there, Madrid won it back, and then Celtic nicked it back off them. Then Madrid go and do the same. This is two teams that are really performing well tonight, going at it toe to toe,
and brilliant on the ball, both of them. And I said maybe about 10 minutes ago that Celtic have to have that belief that they're good on the ball, they can trouble anybody, and it took them probably a couple of minutes to get that, but they're certainly full of confidence. Every time they move the ball, it's a forward pass. Even Greg Taylor's one over the top, there's nothing wrong with that. Gets some turn, gets them up the pitch. What a game of football we've got in our hands.
I think Real Madrid realise now we're in for a real game here tonight. There's no doubt. Celtic have started brilliantly, created chances. The link-up play's been great. Their defensive work's been very good. Yes, we keep harping on about Real Madrid. As much as Celtic players will show them all respect in the world, they'll certainly feel that they've got a chance here tonight. And we had people phoning in, Gordon, talking about we're so confident. And on this display, listen, 24 minutes, a long way to go. no wonder, because they should be in the lead.
Celtic have had 2 shots on target and one that's hit the inside of the post, so it's been a really positive start. Real Madrid knocked the ball out of play.
There you go.
I would have got a big cheer, no doubt, from the crowd. I mean, Celtic at the right moments, if the atmosphere was already incredible, but corner kick, 2 corner kicks inside the first minute, things like that, kicking the ball at the pitch, hitting the post. The atmosphere must be absolutely electric in there tonight.
And Greg Taylor forcing a throw in down that left hand side as well. Really positive stuff.
What I'm loving about this is they're playing forward very quickly. We talk about seeing you've got the ball, keep the ball, and you could easily play a few passes at the back. Celtic are stepping out defence, they're playing it wide, they're getting their full backs high up the pitch, and they're causing problems.
Celtic like that angled cut back from the Greg Taylor area, but that one is cut out. I'm absolutely devastated, I must admit.
Oh, brilliant.
I'll tell you about that in a minute, because it's deflected off the side, netting Real Hatate. Celtic are really, really going for this against Real Madrid. Look, we will always talk up Scottish teams in Europe and try and put a positive look on things, but Celtic genuinely really going for this against Real Madrid of all teams.
Yeah, and they deserve to be in front. Their play's been absolutely brilliant.
Right, they've gone in swinger now for Jota, not O'Reilly. Courtois is just too big for that, Mark. He's about 6'7", I think, is he?
Yep.
And he goes right above Giakoumakis and actually catches it, doesn't even punch it away, and Madrid now come across towards the halfway line.
Well, Celtic have showed that they've got that inventive streak with set pieces before. I think that's too predictable. Courtois, easy for him, and now Real Madrid go up there and it is end-to-end stuff. I mean, the pace.
That's good news.
Good.
Karim Benzema is feeling his knee.
Yeah, I was watching him just out the picture there, Gordon, and he's really struggling. That would, like you say, good news. He's a top class world striker, of course he is, but their bench is full of talent as well. But I don't think Celtic are born with that. I think Celtic I'll be delighted, and so will the fans inside that stadium. Absolutely delighted with what they're watching just now.
Great passing range from Tony Cruz, though, just a couple, and it's so fascinating to watch. As Real Madrid, this is the first meaningful attack they've had in a while, so we'll just stay with it. But the way that Cruz is sitting deep, and Modric then just decides to dart forward, he just goes and takes up some sort of advanced area mark, and
he's gone. I think he's gone.
And Benzema might be. He's really feeling his knee. He's kind of flexing his leg over and over again. He's hunched over. He's shaking his hands around in some sort of frustration, but he's on for the moment. The passing to Hatate is not great. Celtic do win it back. Matt O'Reilly, he looks like he rushed that one, Mark.
Yeah, you can just see what they're trying to do, though. Nothing else in the Celtic midfielders' minds, though, to just spring a Bada or Jota inside. Just the pass, the execution wasn't quite there. But the work rate that these players are putting in.
I know we say this all the time, but this is different from can Celtic keep this up?
No,
I very much doubt it.
No, I'm
quite tired watching it.
Matt stole my thunder there. I was just about to say, I think the energy Celtic players are showing is incredible. Can they keep that up? That's a massive ask. But the good thing about Postecoglou is get good quality on the bench. It can come on and
Kyogo
replace.
and Maeda are going to have good legs to come on.
Exactly.
Whether it's a Turnbull or a Moy, and Real are going to make the change, and I think it will be Karim Benzema, but they've got an attack first, so Celtic won't want to fall behind and then see that change take place, and it would be just the thing on one leg if he was to go and put Real Madrid in front before he goes off. But there is going to be some sort of change, I think, down there.
Again, it's a bonus for Celtic because he is one of the best, if not the best striker, maybe Haaland in the world. But I didn't even see anything. Was it? Did they twist it? Was that a knock?
It came from the corner kick.
It's really good though from Real, moving. Everyone's moving all over the place.
Tell you what, his knee doesn't look so there when he was doing his movement in the box.
It's funny that strikers are always the same. They all limp when it's gone back, but they come alive.
He smelled a little chance there, and all of a sudden that pain gone. But you can just see the way sometimes they just try and take the sting out of Celtic. And do you know something? That's okay, because they're playing in front of Celtic. It's given Celtic players that little bit of breather, and then they can go again with the energy, because to do that for 90 minutes.
Tony Cruz is passing. It's an absolute
he's not too bad at that. He's a fine
this
player.
is a big chance for Real Madrid, and it's gone wide of Joe Hart's goal. It was a shot from outside the box, so Celtic weren't completely cut open, but Valverde got room and he's rifled one past the post. He
chance
possibly should do better.
That's a chance, mate.
Is that fair? He's inside the box actually.
He's went the wrong side.
He's got to do better.
Yeah.
Go the curler.
Right, the good news, Celtic fans, is Karim Benzema is going off. He's injured. 29 minutes is all he's lasted. Can he do it on a wet Tuesday night in Glasgow? He's gone off injured.
Doesn't he fancy it, does he?
But the bad news is that Eden Hazard's come on.
I mean,
what did he go for? He went for some ridiculous amount of money.
But he's a magnificent player.
But he's hardly played. He's not played.
Well, fits and starts, I think, at times.
But I agree with Mark. It's a different sort of a style game that he'll bring on. He's more a trick, and
he's incredibly good at keeping the ball, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the low centre of gravity, and
where Benzema to me is a proper centre forward. This guy's a little bit different.
A false nine, did they call them? I'm sure we've
Could
heard
be,
that phrase.
Could be, yeah.
The real authentic nine is off. He's up the tunnel at Celtic Park. He's away into the Mark WIlson treatment room to get patched up. And
this game's that good. I've just looked at the clock. I can't believe they're 30 minutes on the clock. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm asking for my money back. The games went too quick.
Even at Celtic's level, Mark, look at the weekend. Kyogo goes off after 3 minutes and Giakoumakis comes on, and Celtic don't miss a beat thereafter. Relatively speaking, it's all relative. Real Madrid have gone and done that. So yes, you can be slightly encouraged when you see Benzema go off, but they're still Real Madrid. It's still Eden Hazard that's come on. Yeah,
still a threat. Celtic players are known from watching him throughout the years. He's a world superstar as well.
However, here goes Celtic again. Abada, he's understandably, he's not got the run on Mendy. I don't think he's quite managing to come out on top there. He tried to take him down the line, and I think it's going to be a foul against Jens. Is that a bit of a soft one?
There's no way that's a foul, but it's a foul that you get at this level in European football. I think he just...
Oh, it is.
It's a foul.
You think so?
I
think Hazard's on the way down.
Do you know something? See, Jens,
I didn't realise there was a nutmeg in there, that's why.
I've got...
no, maybe I'll put that back again.
I've got high hopes for him as
he
a
did
Celtic
grab him by
player.
the throat. I didn't see it.
That tends to be frowned upon.
He's a good player. Do you know what I'm very impressed with? The amount of room that Celtic are finding.
Midfield.
Unbelievable. The rotation is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And this, and we keep saying about it, and this is why I'm saying it's brilliant, because it's top class players you're playing against.
Yeah.
So to go and find that amount of space against top quality is perfect for Celtic. But you
how
can't
good is that though?
there.
I mean, Hatate tries to anticipate, which is absolutely fine, because for Real Madrid they then anticipate that, and then they go and stride through and get to the edge of the box. Some of it's been a joy to watch, but Celtic have more than held their own here. There's Luka Modric, who chips one through and it goes straight to Joe Hart. Celtic are really holding their own. They've had the best chances, easily the best chances of this game. 32 minutes gone, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0.
I think that's the most impressive thing when you look at the full game. You know, the 0-0 scoreline, maybe people around Europe will be looking at it thinking Real Madrid were just coming here to take as many as they wanted off Celtic. But when you look at the actual 32 minutes played, Celtic have been by far the better side and the more composed side. Yes, Real Madrid, when they get the ball and they spring some passes together, then it looks nice, but Celtic, you know, very impressive.
That said, last 5 minutes, Gordon, again you're seeing a lot of controlled possession from Real Madrid.
Look, we keep harping on about it. You're playing Real Madrid, you ain't going to dominate the game as much as you do domestically, Gordon. So you'll need to give up possession somewhere along the line, because they've got players that are comfortable in the ball. But I'll get back to it. 32.5 minutes against the reigning European champion, and goalkeeper's not had a save to make. You're over the moon with that,
Mark. I feel like you can't take your eyes off it. I feel like every time it looks like either team's about to launch a good attack, because the possession's good and the spaces open up, and then even if they don't, the other team turns that defence into attack really quickly.
Yeah.
You know, we're used to watching games in here. I'll be honest, there are times where I'll need to check Twitter or communicate with producer Cal, whatever it is. I feel like I cannot take my eyes off it.
Yeah, I know, it's so quick because the players are that, you know, 1 and 2 steps ahead of the game. They can play a pass that we don't even see here on the TV. That's the levels you're facing at the Champions League. That's why Celtic and Rangers want to play in that. But Celtic are doing that every bit as much as Madrid. But Abada, the only thing with Abada, he's young, right? He's 20-year-old. He does look a bit nervy. As a winger, though, it's one of the hardest positions in the pitch, because you have got to always be positive, or you end up drawing attention to yourself in a bad way.
Juranovic went galloping up the pitch there, and rather than moving in front of him, Abada sort of stopped and let Juranovic go beyond and
played the negative pass.
and it never really came to anything. Now here comes Vinicius.
Good
what a tackle that is. What a tackle from Josip Juranovic.
I'm going to say something. See when you play teams like this, and Mark will tell you, you need your big players to step up. See, for 35 minutes, I think Callum McGregor has been outstanding.
So's Rio Hatate.
Yeah, I think McGregor in the middle of the park has been outstanding for me.
Now here's a guy who won't be short on confidence, and it's Jota. He goes down the line, left-footed, headed clear by Real Madrid. You know, they're good at that. They're good at the traditional stuff as well. Celtic again, they're into the box. Giakoumakis tries to turn, and he's penalised. I'm not sure, Mark. I feel like the Real Madrid player almost tried to push Giakoumakis as well. It felt like they both just came together.
Carvalho, just experience, played at the top level for so many years. He's back, he knows he's maybe second favourite. As soon as he feels contact with Giakoumakis, it's always gone down.
Are you having that watching this game?
The Celtic have only got 33% of the
Yeah,
ball.
and they've been
Strange, isn't it?
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'm that's what I'm saying. You're playing against a team. I like the fact that sometimes at Real Madrid are knocking that ball about. They're not causing, because it gives the a bit of breathing space for it, because you can't keep that pace up for 90 minutes. It's impossible. So it gives that little bit of rest to go again. But they need to be
Tony
careful.
Cruz diagonal is
He's incredible.
I
absolute
wonder if he
joy.
even practices that in training.
Oh,
now.
I'm sure he
Because
does.
He doesn't miss any ever. It's
you know
just
what?
so natural.
It's never even half a foot to the other side of anyone, is it? It's always just bang on the money.
Sickening how some people are that good. Just looking at them. I mean, see the possession stats there, it flashed up. I mean, it was the same on Saturday. It was a weird one. Rangers had the lion's share of possession.
Yeah, I think they only had about 10% more than Celtic though, didn't they?
Well, yeah, so what's this, 60-30 or whatever it was?
65-35,
65-35,
nearly,
yeah. So I wouldn't have thought it. I mean, Madrid have been good on the ball, but very rarely troubled Celtic. Celtic have been effective on the ball when they've had it.
Yeah, I think that's well, Real Madrid have
chance
actually kept
here.
it in. I thought it was going to go out for a corner.
Oh,
A woeful cross from,
So-
was it Valverde?
Valverde, yeah.
And out for a throw-in.
Yeah, it was a good play. Cruz in the middle of the park's been brilliant for them. Even if you look at it, Mark, when he plays the ball into the centre, you're talking about the diagonal. When he plays them into the centre, he plays what you call safe side to the centre forward and the players. And safe side's basically the defender can't get there because it's the best side for the attacker. He's just a quality player. Listen, you don't get the amount of caps and have the career that he's got if you can't play.
By the way, great result earlier on for Scotland women's national team. They beat Faroe Islands 6-0 away from home in that qualifier. They were trying to rack up a few goals, and they did that, 6 of them. So well done to Pedro Martinez Losa's side. Really impressive attacking performance. And we've been treated to another good game as well. Not as many goals yet, but
Well,
Yeah, I'm loving
I
it.
said-
It's a great 0-0.
I said we're never going to get a 0-0,
It's a great
and
0-0
we're sitting
so
here
far.
37 minutes on, and it's shy of goal mouth action. Although Celtic have hit the post, it's both goalkeepers never really been troubled by anything.
and this is the impact you two have on the listening nation. And I've been sent a message from Leo, right? Young Leo's lying with his smart speaker next to him, listening to you
Leo
two
the lion.
before he goes to bed. So he usually has a wee bedtime story, but
Oh.
instead he's listening to you two.
Yes.
I'll give him nightmares.
Yes,
Done,
Leo. Delighted that you're listening in. We're trying our
We're
best.
here
here.
till 11. I think Leo's
Get to bed.
he's a bit too young to be staying up till 11, I think, but we'll see what happens between now and then. Maybe he'll give us a phone. Maybe if he can't get to sleep when the open line comes.
Oh, if you're a Celtic fan, you ain't getting sleep tonight the way they're playing.
How are you two feeling about being here until 11 o'clock?
Loving
Loving
it.
it. Still got a few more hours in you.
Absolutely loving it. And
Yeah, good. You look it.
And big nights like this, you don't mind, and the Scotland game when we were in, the hours fly by.
Oh, what the state of you, the two of you trying to devour that pizza a minute or two ago was magnificent. Though I must admit, like I took my daughter to the zoo yesterday, and it was very similar. Celtic with some defending to do, and it's
Yeah,
offside
offside.
anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, I took her to the zoo yesterday, and there was the meerkats were diving into it. And that's what it reminded me.
put one, Edinburgh.
I see just a wee Calder Glen East Kilbride, and I fancy the big journey.
All right, okay.
It was a last minute decision. Only had about an hour to spare, you see.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So, but it reminded me of you two trying to delve into that pizza, and I'm really disappointed in myself because I got wonderful footage. I mean, David Attenborough voiceover. Think that as DL bites into this pizza and he turns round and he stares at me with the most, to use a great Scottish expression, glacial look in his face as he chews in his pizza. And I've just looked to see if I can put it on social media, and I've lost it. I think I've accidentally deleted it or something. I'm heartbroken.
There's nothing like watching him stuff his face.
Anyways, another, more importantly, slightly, Celtic got into another good area.
There's a yellow, is it?
I thought that was Juranovic for a minute, because it was in that
Has
side of the
Juranovic been
pitch.
booked?
He got booked for that first tackle, did he not? I thought I
No,
saw
he
him
never
get
get
booked.
booked.
No, did he get away
Never
with it?
got away with it.
Oh, right, okay.
I think Real
Rest
Madrid
easy.
got an early yellow, yeah?
Yes, it was Mendy. I got
For the elbow on Giakoumakis.
Yeah.
Giakoumakis is now taking a sore one. I don't know about this technique of him and Kyogo just swapping places because they're injured. He's the one who commits the foul, but he's taking a bit of a sore one. We'll see if he's fine. I think he is, to be honest.
I think he'll be okay. I'll run that off, Gordon. 5 minutes to half time, plus stoppage. I've got to say, I've said it for the 12th minute, Postecoglou will be a delighted manager just now. I think Real Madrid, I'll be happier to get in here 0-0, because Celtic have had the better chances so far.
Look at Tony Cruz there. You just think him as someone who takes a touch and passes it, but just shows that it can glide away from people also.
Yeah, Madrid are into the box. Look at Modric twisting and turning like it's the easiest thing in the world for him. The ball's fizzed across and it's a big
He's got to go
chance.
offside, surely.
Oh no, I don't think it was.
I think
I think that's a let off for Celtic.
Hazard at the back
Eden
post.
Hazard. Do you know what? Celtic maybe did enough. There's maybe a bit of it that was quite good defending, but for a player of his calibre, he just drifts in between, and we're not even getting to see it again because Madrid keep attacking. Goal kick though, Joe Hart's going to take.
Yeah, I think that is a let off. I think Hazard times he's run there, and he just gets it all wrong. Maybe Jens or Carter Vickers maybe puts him off a bit. It just goes to show you switch off, this team will get in behind you.
Gordon, it's funny because this Celtic team doesn't do survival. They don't do that like survival mode. We've already seen the way they're going about this game, but we keep having discussions last year in Europe about game management and so on. Is it now, with 41 minutes on the clock, the priority to get in level at half time, or does Ange Postecoglou just simply not operate that way?
Doesn't operate that way. I like that style of football, Gordon. I like the confidence.
I'll tell you what, they might look to take the lead because Juranovic is in behind. It's a great ball and it's headed away. It's going to be a throw into Celtic on the far side.
Magnificent.
Yeah, it's good play. I think using the width, Celtic especially down the right hand side, I'd like to see Abada getting a little bit more involved. I think Celtic middle of the park, McGregor and Hatate, outstanding first half for me.
Celtic have space, real space. Juranovic just sort of swings at that cross that was sitting up, and you could tell he was trying to do the sort of cut volley, wasn't he, Mark? And
this is a danger if he's onside.
This is a problem. Vinicius is onside. He's so quick and he's bearing down on Joe Hart, and Joe Hart makes a huge save, which gets a rapturous applause around Celtic Park. That is Real Madrid's best chance of the game. It's possibly the best chance of the game for either side, and Joe Hart saves it.
Always thought that was going to be the danger. Celtic press high up the pitch. You got Vinicius Junior's pace over the top. The pass is magnificent. He's got the full half almost to run into.
How quick must he be? Because he looked miles offside.
Miles, but Joe Hart came out, made himself big. You're going to need your goalkeeper.
But here comes Celtic. They're on the attack again. Jota crosses back post. Giakoumakis heads it into the air. Unfortunately, Courtois' hands in the air are rather a difficult obstacle.
I look at that in two ways. One,
the offside flag go up, or a foul or something.
Foul, I think it was. I would be disappointed for Junior not to score that. But I've got Hart makes it very difficult for him. Spreads his body, makes himself look big, and it's a real good save.
Mark, stating the obvious, if you're going to get anything against Real Madrid, they are going to have chances. You're going to need them to miss a few. You're going to need to save. One of the most famous nights that this stadium has seen is the Tony Watt night. The percentage of possession was an absolute joke in favour of Barcelona. The chances, the Great Wall, was that what they called? Fraser Foster and the Catalan press. This is nowhere near that. It's nowhere near the backs to the wall, but you're still going to need to stand up.
Madrid will have chances. Now that's surprising, and that's really the first clear-cut chance that they've had all game. But I mean, Joe Hart, he's played in this level before. He's played in the Bernabeu before. He made himself big there, and it's a huge save, because what a blow that would be for Celtic if he put that away and they go in 1-0 down at half time. They don't deserve that.
Oh, Celtic almost in behind. They get a second bite at it, And it's good defending from Real Madrid. The offside flag is up.
Yeah,
that's why they were almost in.
And it's McGregor picking that ball out again for Jota.
I need to see that again. I didn't think he looked particularly off, but maybe marginal.
We're going to see this save again, Gordon. I think that.
Do you know what? I think Vinicius actually is offside there.
Yeah, I agree with
I
you.
wonder if that had gone in. If that had gone in,
VR
might well have ruled that out anyway. Maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because the thing, he's almost in his own half, but he's got one foot. He's on his bike, and
I think it's a full house. I agree with you guys. I think he looked offside to me. But listen, Joe Hart didn't know that, and he had still to make that save. And it was a very, very good save. And as I say, as much as the possession stats show Real Madrid, I think Celtic first half have been excellent.
You know what's impressive about Celtic? We always talk about them attacking. See defensively how brave they are. You just seen that line there, up at the halfway line. It's a different way of defending. It gives your midfielders and strikers a chance to press, and they have trust in their goalkeeper. I was used to sitting in 18-yard box defending.
Well, they're on their 18-yard box just now, because Madrid are coming forward, stroking it about, and going to shoot from the edge. That's an easier save, that one, for Joe Hart. It's just straight at him.
I think the two teams are a little bit tactically the same. I think they're prepared to give up the wide areas, and any ball comes in the box, they back their ability to go and defend it. Celtic are brilliant at it.
Half time in the other game, by the way, in Celtic's group, and it's RB Leipzig 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Now, I know there was a bit of a narrative setting in that Donetsk would be a good draw. There's more important things than football going on in Ukraine, and players have left and they're not playing at home and all that sort of stuff. Well, I've gone to Leipzig and taken a lead at half time, so clearly you're still operating at Champions League level. Vinicius has had the ball for about 40 seconds, it feels.
Yeah, but it was good defending. Celtic forced them back the way. They'll be happy with that, because he is a quality player. Obviously Abada doing a bit of work, doubling up with Juranovic on that right hand side, which he's asked to do. So important as a half time whistle goes.
Half time whistle goes. Let's get the eyewitness account from Gabriel.
Half time here, it's Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0, and what a brilliant game it's been. An impressive first half from the Hoops. They've got nothing to show for it yet. The pre-match was one of the best atmospheres you'll see, one of the loudest roars after the Champions League anthems you will hear. Ange Postecoglou promised they'd go for it from the start, and they certainly did that. Lil Abada almost opened the scoring within the first 30 seconds, and the Hoops had two corners straight off the bat, lifting the crowd even higher. 12 minutes in, they had a break from a Real Madrid corner, a rapid counter-attack. Jota whipping a ball through to Lil Abada, but it was a really tame effort straight at Thibaut Courtois. Hatate then hammered one from 25 yards into Courtois' midriff. Courtois parried it out, and 1 minute later was Celtic's best chance. And McGregor from just inside the box, rattling the inside of the post. This stadium would have erupted if it went in after Yakimakis laid it back off to him, but it wasn't to be. Celtic were well the better side within the opening 30 minutes. Reo Hatate, it must be said, the best player on the park, absolutely running the show in the middle. Around 30 minutes in is where Real Madrid captain Karim Benzema had to come off with a knee injury. Eden Hazard came on to replace him, but that is when Real Madrid started to grow into the game. They showed their quality, they kept the ball, knocked it about. Aurelien Tchouameni and specifically Toni Kroos showing their class, knocking the ball about the midfield. Fede Valverde had a chance, he hammered a left-footed shot wide, could maybe have done better. The best chance then came from Vinicius Jr. on the break. He was through one-on-one of his trademark runs from the halfway line. Hart made himself big in the Celtic goal, and it was an excellent save with his legs, although it may have been ruled out for offside. Going the other way, Jota has done some good running, but he hasn't managed to get the better of Dani Carvajal just yet. The game is hanging in the balance here. Neutrals will want more of the same, and Celtic fans will hope they can make one of these chances count whilst keeping out the European champions. At the interval here at Celtic Park, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
After 15 years, 2 teams from Scotland in group stage.
Standing with the elite of Europe. Celtic versus Real Madrid. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
What a first half it's been at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Now I know what you're thinking. If you've not seen the game, that doesn't sound like what a first half, but it has been. Ange Postecoglou's side have been really, really good. Some really good chances, some brilliant possession. Lila Bada almost opened the scoring inside 25 seconds. They've broken time and time again. Abada got in behind again and couldn't make it count. It was a team effort at Courtois. Callum McGregor rattled the inside of the post. This is the European champions. Of course, they've had their moments. Vinicius went through, Joe Hart saved it, might have been offside anyway, and Valverde struck one wide for Real Madrid. But Gordon Dalziel, whilst we bear in mind the level of opposition, Ange Postecoglou will be delighted with that first half, won't he?
Oh, unbelievable. The only thing for me was missing from a perfect first half was the goal, and how McGregor's shot stayed out was incredible. We're looking at the chances back, Gordon. You know, Celtic come out the block, they forced 2 corners right away. They forced a chance with Abada. Mark and I both looked at Jack Mack. He doesn't know a defender falls. If he takes a touch, he sets himself up beautifully. He lays it off for Abada. I just think some of Celtic's one-touch passing has been brilliant. Are you going to give up maybe a chance or 2 against Real Madrid? Of course you are, with the quality. But I've got to say, apart from Joe Hart making the save, and we did think Junior was offside, I don't think they've been that big a threat. I think Celtic play has been absolute dynamite for 45 minutes.
I mean, Mark, Callum McGregor's is so close. Hitting the post doesn't do it justice. It's high, so it's towards the top corner, and it hits the inside of the post and cannons across goal behind Courtois and out to the other side. It is inches away.
Yeah, it'll be one he won't be able to get out his head, you know, all night or season probably, because it would have been an absolute wonder goal. How he controls it and keeps it down, because that's such a hard technique. He's got it, and it's so unlucky. But you know, everything leading up to that actual chance is kind of summed up Celtic. You know, in control, in possession, into Giakoumakis, who bides his time, doesn't rush anything, lays it back, and that's been kind of the story of the half for Celtic so far. In control, their midfield been exceptional, and they've taken the game to Real Madrid.
Gabriel, I take it the crowd are absolutely loving this, and they're getting right behind the effort that the Celtic players are putting in.
Yeah, they certainly are, Gordon. People around me can't believe that Celtic aren't ahead. Not something you thought you would have heard before kickoff. Many of them saying perhaps if it was someone else than Abada, maybe a Maida or even a Kyogo in those positions, you know, Abada's had 2 or 3 good chances, perhaps they would have taken it. But everyone here delighted with the Celtic performance, just want to keep it up for the next 45. That's the question. Can they keep it going, and who would be the substitutes that they would make? Many of them already calling for Kyogo, and even David Turnbull. A moment of magic. We know that Turnbull can score from 20, 25 yards. Perhaps that's what it takes on a Champions League night to make the difference.
We've already had one forced change for Real. Benzema went off injured. Eden Hazard come on. Did I see Rudiger warming up at half time? Gabriel, is that something you can see?
Yeah, Rudiger right now in front of me getting instructions from one of the Real Madrid coaches. It will probably be for Furlong Mendy and then push Alaba to left back. It could be for a centre half. I'll let you know when it happens, but it certainly looks like Antonio Rudiger, summer signing from Chelsea, is going to be coming on straight after the interval.
Yeah, it is a bit of a half of what ifs, Gordon, which is good. It's a good position to be in. The positive side is Lila Bada has got into some great positions. The downside is that there are positions that he tends to score from domestically, and maybe there is a bit of a pressure cooker on because of the stage and the occasion.
No doubt, no doubt. He's learning every day. He's a young lad. He's come into Celtic. He's playing in the biggest game probably his career tonight, and that atmosphere against the European champions, Gordon. Of course there are going to be nerves. Of course there are going to be times when you snatch at things, when a little bit of composure is needed. But the positive thing that the manager will look at is he's getting into the positions. He's getting there. He's causing problems. He's had 1 or 2 chances. He just, as I said earlier, I think he just sometimes needs to take a little bit of deep breath and just relax and try and just play his natural game. He snatched at the one. I'm thinking he's got to do better with the shot. I think that's a great chance. Usually he sticks that away because he's a good goal scorer. But look, as I said, this will do him the world of good playing in this stage against these players and this atmosphere. And look, he'll probably, the manager will look at him and think, right, another 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it may, you get Maeda can come on there. He gives you the bags of energy. Kyogo gives you the bags of energy. So he's got good options after half time to see how it goes. But if Celtic keep playing the way they're playing, I'd be very surprised, and I think they'd be very unlucky not to find the back in it.
Yeah, Gabriel, I take it there's no sign of a Celtic change at this moment in time.
No, it doesn't look like it, Gordon. I'll let you know if anything does change. We've got all 12 substitutes just out warming in front of me. Kyogo is on the far side, warming up with Haksabanovic and Alexander Bernabe. Perhaps Haksabanovic is one that we haven't talked about too much that could come on. He had a little cameo up at Dingwall last Wednesday night. Looked really sharp, and he's someone that Postecoglou likes as well. So maybe we could see a Champions League debut from him. But no, nothing in the offing just yet for Celtic.
How impressed have you been with Celtic's midfield, Mark?
They've been tremendous, because we spoke at length about Real Madrid's midfield and who they were up against. But I mean, you have to play your own game, and I kept emphasising that through the first half. And I think Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor especially, has done that. And I think the way McGregor's playing tonight, it looks like he could fit into that Madrid midfield no problem at all. You know, controlling the game, slowing it down when it needs slowed down, picking forward passes, tracking runners. He's been everywhere. But it's the work rate of the two in front of him, Hatate and O'Reilly. When Celtic have possession, they aren't content in just staying in one position. When they see that the pass isn't on to them, they quickly find another position. Now, playing against that is incredibly hard, and that's why you see Celtic opening Real Madrid up, and they're getting into spaces that Real Madrid, let's be honest, don't like defending in. So that's how everything's been positive. It's just when that ball goes up to the wide guys from the midfield, Jota and Abada, I think that's where it's went a wee bit timid, and that's weird to say because they've been so good.
Jota's been a bit quiet, you know. He's a big bit. He'll be marked very tightly. Going back to the middle of the park, I think, like Mark, I've said it during the half, I think McGregor's been outstanding. I listened to Gabs at Celtic Park saying about Hatate. Totally agree with his performance as well. You could toss a coin between them. I just think Celtic deserve to be in the lead just now. 45
minutes to go. Celtic 45 minutes away from what would be a famous point, but of course they'd want to go on and get something more. It's goalless at the moment, and the second half is next.
The Old Firm. We'll be coming back where it belongs. Celtic versus Real Madrid. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half underway. There have been changes at the break, and Celtic have made one. Daisen Maeda has come on for Lila Abada. We said it's been a tough half for Abada. It's tough for wingers. They have to go by their man, and when they get chances, they're judged on taking them. Maybe looked a little bit nervy, but he's got in good positions, and he's now been taken off for Daisen Maeda. And Milito, I think, came off, was it, Mark? Yes. For Rudiger for Real Madrid.
Yeah,
so
I think
Celtic change first. What do you think?
I've got to give credit to the man to my left. That's why you got here to the big finals. He called it, actually. The
Ayrshire Ancelotti, they used to call him, actually.
I think it is the right decision. I think Abada looked a bit tentative, didn't have much conviction. He got into good positions, and you can't be wasteful when you get into those positions. So Maeda will still give you that pace, still give you that press, maybe a wee bit of quality needed.
It's interesting because Abada is generally the one that gives you the killer touch, Gordon. Out of the two, Maeda's great, and you know what he does pressing wise, but Abada usually is the one that provides the killer touch, and he couldn't, so it's over to Maeda to see if he can. Yeah, and it's you know, I thought he would go down that road. I thought Abada just looked a little bit, you know, a wee bit nervous tonight. A big occasion, we keep going back to it. The boy's, he's very young, he's 20 years of age, he's been brilliant for Celtic. I think Postecoglou's just looked at it. You've still got bags of energy. Oh, it's great from Callum McGregor. Really good from Callum McGregor, and from Giakoumakis, and Jota and Maeda. This is a great move from Celtic. Maeda decides to give it back to Jota, and a ball just going to be flashed across the face. Juranovic is there though, in the box, and it's Maeda, sorry, from 8 yards out. Get Abada back on. Oh, what a chance. Huge chance for Celtic. It was fizzed at him. It was really powerful. and he got it stuck under his feet, and it just dribbles towards Thibaut Courtois.
What a ball that
I
is.
think that's a hard chance.
Do
Gordon.
Yeah, rifled at him.
I think that's a
Juranovic has volleyed it at him.
Gordon. See, the reason why I think that's a great chance is because see if he connects right.
The pace is on it, so you're just
pace is
directing
on the
it.
ball. It's like a header. The pace.
get
I've got to say, right, as much as my head, what a ball that is. Right, that is a striker's dream. If he just opens his side foot up, connects with that, he's giving the goalkeeper no chance.
Mark, it's easy to spin this both ways. How good is it that Celtic are creating these chances against the European champions, and how potentially bad is it that they're not taking them? Because you just wonder if you're going to need to at some point.
Well, in any game, you know, you have to take your chances when in top, but particularly against sides like this. So yeah, you can look at it that way. But the move leading up to the chance was terrific. McGregor wins the ball, wraps it into Giacomakis. It's one-touch football. And then the ball for O'Reilly, I thought he overhit it, but he obviously sees Juranovic coming in the other side.
Real are in behind. This is it's incisive pass. It's cut Celtic open, but good defending, and it's out for a throw-in.
Yeah, well read there from Jens. Get off with one, because I think it's the wrong option there for Hazard. He tries to cut it back to Carvalho and they get off with one, but you just see Madrid so good at just opening things up quickly.
Oh, that was good from Hatate initially, but then he couldn't get back. And Maeda, just a pressing machine constantly.
Yeah, that's where I've got to be careful. I've got to concentrate, switch on. That one ball in behind really could have caused them so many problems. I'm going to cut Maeda a little bit slack, Gordon. I think maybe just coming on, try to get the pace of the game, he get caught up, get his feet caught up a little bit. But it was certainly a fantastic chance.
Oh, it's great from Rio Hatate.
I was wondering why he kept that in there, but he worked a miracle.
Yeah, that was not so composed from Moritz Jens. Just lashed it, and it allows Madrid to pick up.
Yeah, Celtic just, under pressure a wee bit here this last couple of minutes when Madrid, but they forced it. Actually, they've pressed it well, and it's that man Maeda, it's pressed the left back, Mendy all the way back to Courtois. So working it well defensively.
He does okay with the ball at his feet, the goalkeeper.
Oh, he's exceptional. But see, at this level, all goalkeepers are like that.
He fires it like a midfield player, the way he just pings out there. They're starting to use it with
look
here.
at that. That's a wonderful change of direction from Real Madrid, but comes off Maeda's toe, back to Joe Hart. He's allowed to pick that one up, and away we go again.
I think Celtic have been good at that. See, when Real Madrid get in the final third, I think they've been good at condensing and plugging the wee gaps, McGregor and O'Reilly, so there's no room for them to play in.
That's just a bit of a hospital pass from Juranovic, and Real have got players over here on the left if Modric wants them. He decides to go to the right, and that's a great tackle from Moritz Jens.
He's a good player, Gordon. Mark my words, he's a good player.
Go on, keep going.
There's something about this boy.
Matt O'Reilly doesn't really know where to go in the attack, but Celtic do come forward. That's great pace from Juranovic as well. Like, the Celtic are doing exactly what they did in the first half, Mark. They're going for it.
Well, Ange Postecoglou said as much. They weren't going to change the way
box,
they play.
Maeda can't get there.
Yeah, it's a poor ball in the end. But again, it's a positive pass. When you look at Celtic tonight, there's not been many sidewards or backwards passes. Everybody's looked to go forward. Maybe a Bada when he seen he wasn't going to get much joy out of Mendy, but apart from that, everything's positive.
See, if you've just switched on and you think, what are these three dafties doing? They're usually gone an hour ago. Well, it's part of our new European football coverage, the 8 o'clock kickoffs. We will be here until 11 o'clock on those nights. It's thanks to Moira and Sweeney Litigation. They're sponsoring our coverage of European football this season, and to celebrate, giving you the chance to win a 60-inch Samsung 4K Ultra HD TV as well. What a nice prize that would be. You need a good telly to watch the games on.
Did you get a telly for staying on?
No, I don't think so. So if you want to learn a bit more, moiransweeney.com. High quality representation for everyone throughout Scotland. You can trust them to defend you in the most minor to the most serious of matters. So find out a bit more at clyde1.com, and that is where you enter to win the 60-inch Samsung TV as well. So thanks again to Moira and Sweeney Litigation, our sponsors of European football coverage, and we cannot wait, because if this game is a sign of things to come for our teams in the Champions League, Mark, then good, lots to look forward to.
Yeah, brilliant, huge occasion, and you got to say the game's matched it. The actual quality on the pitch has matched the anticipation, the build up. There's nothing worse when you get the build up and the big guns come into town and it's a boring game and teams are defending. Both teams have went at it, and I'm just amazed it's still 0-0.
Yeah, where I would like to see Celtic maybe, and this could be the difference, I think Jota on the left hand side's been quiet tonight.
Yeah,
You know, they need to try and get him on the ball here as Real Madrid come forward in a dangerous position.
Yeah, a bit of space down the right here. Valverde, can he keep it in? No, he can't. Jeez, it looked like you trying to catch that ball, Gordon Dalziel.
No, I couldn't run that fast. But I just think that if they can get Jota a bit more service, because you know he's got the ability, he's got the tricks, he can open up. Here we see this chance again, Gordon. I do think that's a great opportunity, mate. I think if I put it this way,
You'd have scored it.
Yes, I would have.
You see the reaction, Harry Kewell on the bench, hat over the eyes, sliding down. I mean, what a player he was in his day. He would have probably put that way.
Champions League winner.
Oh, aye, yeah.
I remember that when he went off injured.
Istanbul.
And then he was the quickest to celebrate with the penalty kicks. I've never seen anybody recover in my whole life. The ice pack must have worked wonders.
There are goals going in the Champions League. Benfica 1, Maccabi Haifa 0. Rafa Silva on 50 minutes. I think Mbappe. Oh, it was a risky one from Callum McGregor. Mbappe had PSG 2 up, I think, on Juve at the break. The other game in Celtic's group, Shakhtar Donetsk 1-0 up away to RB Leipzig at half time. But Celtic really still giving as good as they're getting. 53 minutes on the clock. Again, it's maybe just that final cross at times, or the final pass, or a bit of quality in front of goal, but there has been a lot to like about the performance. Can they keep it going? Well,
it takes a lot. Once it gets to the hour stage, you sometimes see energy levels, especially after the game Saturday, maybe going down a wee bit, the energy levels. But Ange Postecoglou can look to his bench where he has got real quality. You know, Kyogo's still there, Haksabanovic, Gabe's mentioned
for instance. I'm sure that we're going to see him. He's not on the bench if we're not going to see him tonight.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Right, so he goes off, he then trains the very next day.
You
know, but is on the bench. I'm no shoulder injury expert. You know, if he was able to, why is he not able to start?
I was puzzled that he trained the next day. You know, if you come off and then you're training the next day, I mean,
or was it yesterday? 2 days later.
2 days later. It's still been a remarkable recovery. But
do you know why I didn't think he started? I thought the manager after Saturday was delighted with Giakoumakis in the performance. He only changed one. It was through an injury. Starfelt.
That's brilliant from Celtic. It breaks down again at the last minute. But Joe Hart, that's what you need from the goalkeeper. And how many times do we get people
that looked like a back pass to me.
Oh, Celtic claiming for a pass back to Courtois. Referee just waves his head. We'll get another look. You know, it needs to be deliberate. It needs to be with the foot, if you like.
I thought he did.
I just want to see it back. I'm wondering because the ref didn't really look bothered, and Celtic don't look that angry at it. But play is raging on.
Well, just the move before that, O'Reilly again a half turn, try to just feed it through to Juranovic doesn't quite read it, but again it's positive. You know, it's not one touch for O'Reilly to go back and across the way. They're trying to penetrate Real Madrid any opportunity they get. But it is just the quality and the final pass it's lacking in this second half in particular. I think the first half did quality to getting behind them, but they've not really seen it.
Yeah, Juve have pulled one back, PSG 2, Juventus 1. Weston McKennie, the American, has scored for Juve.
They don't panic, Madrid, do they? I mean, Courtois had the ball at his feet, Maeda's charging him down beside him, and he just jogs.
Real still got this.
That's
Celtic's press looked really good. They had 4 men up and around it. And this might be the one. There's Vinicius back post, and it is. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 1. Devastating from the European champions. A celebratory dance in the corner from Vinicius, and after so much good work, 56 minutes on the clock, Celtic have been undone with the counter-attack. It's Celtic 0, Real Madrid 1.
That's why they're champions. That's come straight from the goalkeeper. Matt Wright, they don't panic. They suck Celtic in that corner. They play a nice pass up to this. What a flick that is from Valverde, is
Valverde,
it?
yeah.
Valverde, sorry. And he's just looked up. I don't know what Juranovic is doing, Mark.
He's sleeping, isn't he?
You know what? He takes one step to the right there to gamble and somebody coming through the middle, and he doesn't see Junior at his back. I've got to say, as goals go, it's as good constructed goals you'll see. To the goalkeeper, to the centre half, to the right back, to the striker, to the right midfielder. All one touch stuff.
That's a training ground goal into. That's one of the ones that you practice in training and you knock it and you play and everyone knows. Yes, Juranovic for me gets caught a little bit, but take nothing away from that goal. That is sensational.
The bit when it goes into Valverde's unbelievable, because Moritz Jens has almost got his arms round him. They're on the halfway line. He's there. You think he's not getting away from him. He just sort of raises his leg, flicks it round the corner, and then they're through. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant from Real Madrid. Harsh on Celtic because they've done so well in the game, but well, that's Champions League football, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's what we keep saying. As much as you're getting all the plaudits and you're creating a few chances, you're playing well, you're playing against top opposition that in a second can just turn a game, and that's what happened there. And I've got to say, we talk about the build-up play, but see the ball into Junior from the wide area. The pace on it is absolutely to perfection. All he does is open his side foot up and say thank you very much.
Always look.
How's this for a name? Shakhtar Donetsk have just gone 2-1 up at RB Leipzig in Celtic's Champions League group, and Marian Shved has got the goal. Remember him?
He scored the first one as well. He scored two.
You're joking? Seriously?
Yeah, he scored two. I mean, the goal here that we've seen, I look at it from a defensive point of view. I think if Juranovic doesn't take that step right and anticipate somebody coming through the middle, I think he slides and gets it before Junior. It's inches at this level, and teams will punish you. And I feel bad for Celtic, I really do, because they've been magnificent. But the higher level you go, it doesn't need much chances at the other end for the other team to take
just
them.
Try, and Celtic won't change anything, will they, Gordon? Just need to make sure it doesn't get away from them.
Might change personnel, Gordon.
Yeah, that's what I
just
meant,
to give it. Yes, I know what you're saying, but style wise, absolutely no chance. They're 1-0 down. It may be a case of now trying to give a bit more energy into the team. They've put so much hard work into it. Maybe Kyogo, if he is really 100% fit, taking Giacomakis off, giving them that pace.
Haksabanovic.
But I would still, as much as Jota's been quiet, I think he's the one guy that can produce something for you. And when you're chasing the game, I would try and keep him on the pitch as long as I possibly could.
I think Jota's been a bit tentative as well tonight. I think every time he's got the ball, I can't remember him ever trying to run. Carvalho, it always seems, few wee step overs and passing it inside, whether that's domestically, he actually tests the full-back right away. And with Daz a wee bit, I would keep him on just now.
Heavy tackle, and I think two Celtic players have wiped each other out, and it's a 3-on-2 for Real Madrid. Slips it to Modric. The composure from him, toe from Jens, but it's not enough, and it's Real Madrid 2 up at Celtic Park. Joe Hart got a hand to it, and this game is getting away from Celtic now. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2.
Within 5 minutes the game's gone. The game's gone, and that's why people listening to this show were saying, DL and Wilsons are harping on about the quality of Real Madrid. That's the quality you're up against. Top class players that can turn a game in their head within minutes. Celtic have done nothing wrong apart from come up against absolute quality. Modric, he doesn't panic, gets a little bit of luck. What a finish.
The outside of Modric's foot is better than the inside of most other people's, Mark. He's constantly just flicking the ball with that outside of the boot.
I mean, how he adjusts there, because Jens gets a touch in this ball here. I thought Jens did enough. But how he adjusts his
Joe
feet.
Hart actually does quite well to get a hand to it.
Yeah, it's a devastating finish, but a devastating attack. You look at Hazard, you think Hazard's been quiet since he comes on.
I'll be honest, I think Hart should do better.
And Hazard gets the ball in the half turn.
Yeah,
he bursts into life. He takes Carter Vickers out the way, and he's 1-on-1, and he slips in Modric. It's the pace of their attack, the quality at the end of it.
And do you remember not that long ago we were talking about a big blow for Real Madrid losing Benzema?
Been better since he went off.
Yeah, they have. But listen, that's not anything again. I think Celtic have been absolutely brilliant the way they've been about their business, Gordon. But when you come up against top class players that can just with a flick of a switch turn a game on its head, that's why they are European champions.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the absolute top tier, Mark. That's what it is. Celtic haven't really been outplayed here at 61 minutes, but they're 2-0 down very quick, and now staring at what can turn into a really ugly night if they're not careful.
Yeah, because there's half an hour still on the clock, and this Madrid team look like they're enjoying themselves now. Very composed on the ball. Different team this second half, you've got to say.
Yeah, just booted it out for a throw in there.
But I mean, you're right, Gordon. We're not talking about a run-of-the-mill Champions League side, who are also runs in the tournament and get to the last 16, get put out. This team almost goes the distance every time. So, Celtic can be proud of how they've approach this first hour. But you're right, they need to be wary here, because these players can take a barrel load off you.
Well, you've seen in 5 minutes what they can do. Celtic, I've got a sort of a dilemma, pushing more players forward, try to get. Listen, I go get some back into the crowd. I'll give them such an amazing lift. But
that's poor from Celtic.
like
that is poor. Maeda came short, then looked to dart in behind, and Juranovic played it short, so it goes straight to Real Madrid, and they come forward again.
Doesn't help you giving away cheap balls like that.
No, here's Modric down the side of the box, and he just floats one, dinks it to the back post. It's going to be a corner.
Just see gaps opening now in the Celtic backline. In the first half, it looked also controlled from a defensive point of view. There was bodies plugging the gaps. Now when Madrid break, they're right onto the back four, and the back four are going back towards their own goal, and it's never good. It's never a good sign.
Also, Mark, you've got to understand, the Celtic players are sitting there 5-6 minutes ago thinking how well we've done. We're in this game against Real Madrid. 6 minutes later, you're 2-0 down. So you've a little bit of belief has got to go out you. Of course it has.
Yeah, the conviction from Celtic's attack seems to have gone a little bit as well.
It does. They were pinging things forward. They were getting balls into the box. They were troubling Madrid for the first probably 50 minutes there. But it's amazing how goals just can change the full outlook in a game.
Maeda's gone into the book. I think he caught Modric when he's jumped for that aerial ball. Not a great aerial duel between those two, I must say. But Maeda just tries to jump.
Not booking, is it?
I just think it's two players.
Complete accident, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, and the referees decided to put him into the book. But it'll be interesting now. I think Postecoglou's really got to look at his bench.
We've not seen much from Maeda since he's come on, have we?
No.
Came on a break 20 minutes ago.
To be fair, we've not seen much from the front three of Celtic, which is usually their strengths, especially going forward and attacking, making the changes with the pace and everything like that. We've not seen much of them. I think O'Reilly has been quiet. McGregor and Hatate have been terrific. So I would expect Postecoglou to look and say, right, we need to freshen something up. He's got options in the bench. He's got good quality in the bench. But
the Celtic's pressed. It works to a point. Courtois was rushed and he kicks it out and it goes for a throw-in. So Real, they're not having it all their own way. Celtic are making them make mistakes, but the problem is the quality in the final third hasn't been there for Celtic, and it has certainly been there for Real Madrid in this second half. So Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2.
But the problem now for Celtic is Real Madrid can be very patient. They can just sit there.
They can make changes.
They can make changes. They can be patient, and then all of a sudden wait for the gaps to appear from Celtic and just go and hit them in the counter attack, because they've certainly got the players for it.
Well, an equaliser in the other game, is there?
No, I think the TV is just miles behind for some reason.
So it is.
They've got Leipzig just equalising.
They've just scored again.
Two quick fire goals there. Yeah.
This boy.
Yeah, Celtic. It just looks like the pace has went a wee bit out, and a wee bit of belief maybe than what they had in the first half.
That's nice though. It's nice interplay at the edge of the box, and eventually the pass from O'Reilly to Juranovic doesn't work. Juranovic gets it back. He's down. He's taken a sore one. Erling Haaland's got another 2 goals tonight.
Sensational, isn't it?
Sevilla 0, Man City 3. I think Phil Foden got the other one. Juranovic is in a bit of discomfort here, and he's holding his knee. Let's take it. Oh dear, Mark.
That's never a good sign, that, because it is certainly not a contact injury. He's up though.
He is, but usually when a player folds and starts holding their knee, that's a real worry. But
being an expert in knees, Mark, what do you think?
What's your diagnosis?
Yeah.
I want to know. I've got none. No, so I forget what a good knee looks like. Yeah.
What treatment would you be given tomorrow morning?
Nose, yeah.
How many knee ops are we talking?
20s.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a long old slog.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's great to watch his pain when you get to about the 13th hole of golf. It's the only bit I enjoy.
20 knee ops.
That's when it starts kicking in.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it when the limp
old limp
starts.
comes on.
Yeah.
Remember when you were waiting on your hip hop?
Yeah.
And you used to drive that little
buggy
scooter around the golf course. That was good fun.
I literally couldn't walk.
I liked that. That was great seeing you on
I'm
that thing.
delighted you liked my pain, Gordon.
I just loved your wee buggy. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and then it ran out of juice and I had to push it up the hill. That was the worst bit. But Celtic are certainly facing an uphill battle.
I was going to
here.
say they've run out of juice, but they've actually the wee spurt in the last couple of minutes. McGregor's looking lively again, and Jota now he's twisting and turning.
Better.
That's brilliant.
And at the back post, Giakoumakis and the referee gives the free kick Real Madrid's way. That's good from Celtic.
You got terrific. That's what I'm saying. Jota is one of these players that can just turn the game for you quickly. He's got great ability, does well here, checks back on his left foot. Picks it up, brilliant cross. Do you know something? Yeah, you look at Giakoumakis, you're a bit frustrated. That's good defending.
I think it was a foul.
I think obviously he plays for it, but it's good defending for me.
Oh, I mean, what a shift Celtic are having to put in, because they're really trying to press, but you're just facing a really sophisticated.
I'm surprised there's
outfit.
not more changes, Gordon. I think they need a
Bit of life.
Yeah. Something to come on a little bit more. I know that my Aiders come on at half time, but especially in the middle of the part, O'Reilly, Giakoumakis looks a bit leggy as you see him. You know, he's not got that same.
Is Kyogo not fit then?
Well, there we were just seeing him in the picture there, Gordon. I would imagine he'd have been on by now. I just feel that Giakoumakis is looking a bit leggy, O'Reilly's looking a bit leggy. And look, there's nothing up with that because they have certainly put in some shifties, boys. But I just think that now is time for change for Ange.
Madrid are a class act at the minute. They know how to handle these situations. You know, they don't need put bodies up. They can knock it about the back, suck Celtic out, and then hit them on the counter attack. It's
and that was good from Celtic.
Stuff.
Zipped into Giakoumakis, whose first touch was all right. Keeps it. He's got 3 Real Madrid players around him and no teammates.
Yeah, he just looks tired, Gordon. I think if you went up just now and pressed his belly button, his legs would fall off. I just think he looks.
Sorry.
That's a great saying in football.
I've never heard that saying in football. Never.
Kyogo and Turnbull on for Celtic. So they have made that double change, as the guys were speculating. They've gone for some fresh legs. Kyogo and Turnbull coming on.
I would say O'Reilly and Giakoumakis, without a doubt. I'd be astonished if it wasn't they two. I just think they look leggy, they look tired. Unless he looks like the amount of work Hatate's put in, but he'll certainly not take McGregor off. So it'll be interesting to see. But me personally, I think O'Reilly's ran his race, and I think that Giakoumakis.
Camavinga on for Real Madrid. I think he was about 40 million, I think, when they bought him from Rennes at 18 years of age. Celtic faced him when he was with Rennes, of course, in the Europa
40
League.
million at 18 years of age.
40 million at 18 years of age.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Not bad,
He must feel the cheapie in that squad.
I know.
You get to the back of the bus, you're only 40 million. we'll sit down next to the driver.
They really are a class act.
Triple change actually for Celtic.
Needed
Aaron Moy is also going to come on. So is that Hatate as well?
Yeah, 2 midfielders and Giakoumakis.
It's hard to be too. Like Celtic are probably going to lose this game. They're certainly losing now, but I feel like Hatate's also had a decent game. Mark faded maybe second half, but really good first half.
Yeah, brilliant.
There he's still pulling the strings.
Even in the second half, I think he's been good. McGregor and Hatate, pick of the bunch for me. For Celtic,
Juranovic's ball in, and I just wonder if O'Reilly had to head it. He just heads it up into the air, and it takes the sting out of everything.
He's tired. You can see in his face. He's a tired lad. He's put so much work into it. Listen, every one of these players can be proud of their performance. I think we'll get calls here with Celtic supporters. They'll lose a game. I don't think there's any way back for them. They'll be over the moon with the effort of their team and the style of football they've played tonight. Even though they've lost the game, I'm assuming that they're going to lose the game, Gordon. You've got to admire Celtic the way they've went about their business here.
A year ago, this weekend, Matt O'Reilly played away at Cheltenham in League One.
There you go.
And he's put in a decent shift against Real Madrid in the Champions League 1 year on. So that shows you the journey.
Yeah, 2 Grand Nationals in a year, because he's certainly covered as much distance in a Grand National here tonight. I just think the lad is I hope.
The Grand National, isn't it? Cheltenham.
I know it's the entry. I've just remembered.
Grand National's the entry, mate. That was a good effort.
Do you know, as I was saying it, I'm going, I'm the wrong race course here. But listen, he's been excellent. Look, Postecoglou can be very proud of his team. They've come up against a quality side. They've really, give them a real go, especially first half. I thought they were very unfortunate not to get in the lead. I really did. But longer the game went, the chances were missed in the first half. This team just grew into it. You can see why they're so experienced, why they're so good. Their first goal was different class, and then icing on the cake with Modric.
We're talking Vinicius and Modric. Just think about the two goal scorers, Gordon. I mean, that should sum it all up, really.
Yeah, incredible talent. They've just got players. You're talking about an 18-year-old coming on at 40 million, Gordon. That's the level you're dealing with. And to be fair, Celtic fans went along there expecting.
I think Vinicius was the same. I think he was 40 million at 18.
18 years age.
Did they not sign him when he was 16, actually? Or, that's what.
I don't know when they signed him, but he's a fantastic talent, as he showed here. But I keep going back to it. I just think first half, when you've got the chances that Celtic had, you've got to try and make them count, because you know that you ain't going to dominate this game for 90 minutes. You're against top quality players. They're going to come back into the game. They're going to create a chance or two, and they certainly created a chance or two. They turned the game in 5-6 minutes. All of a sudden you're in a game, you think, right, we're on top of this. You turn round and you look at the scoreboard and you're 2-0 down. That's what you're dealing against.
All of a sudden the pitch just looks so much bigger for Celtic now. Madrid just knocking about with ease, really. Taking the sting out the game when it needs be. Just picking passes pretty easily. Celtic players chasing in ones and twos now. In the first half they were, going about it the right way as a team, but difficult. Madrid had the ball now for which seems like a couple of minutes.
And actually, although you make all these changes for fresh legs, Mark, I feel like so many players have been caught in the face tonight. It's Jota's turn. Although I think Celtic have been penalised. I think it's a free kick to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
You bring on fresh legs, but it doesn't always follow that you then get this upturn, because it also can disrupt momentum and flow, and players are not up to the speed of the game. So it's not that automatic thing, is it, that you suddenly look sharper because you make changes?
No, it's hard, but especially when you've got a midfield that got to grips with how the Madrid midfield are working and moving. Then you change a couple of them, and it takes a bit of time to get up to speed and and get close to your men. I think this is what we're seeing here for Madrid. Pretty much in control, just knocking it about. Celtic players cannot get near them at the minute. And the first goal certainly knocked the stuff in it. I think the second goal kind of knocked the life out of Celtic.
You're talking about changes, Mark. I think you're up against one of the best managers in the world that's recognised what's happening. He's changed at half time. You look at Celtic, have hardly laid a glove on Real Madrid in the second half. Defensively, they look a lot more solid. Benzema maybe been a blow, because see the two centre halves, they know they're playing against an out-and-out centre forward, whereas Hazard comes on, plays that false nine that you're talking about, drifts into positions that centre halves don't know whether to go or stay, and all of a sudden they dominate the ball and dominate the game. They've created a couple of chances and they've put the game beyond Celtic now.
It's an incredible spell of possession this from Madrid. I mean, passes zip to the feet of players. Now they're 1-on-1 in the final third.
Marian Shved's given someone else a chance at scoring for Shakhtar Donetsk, but they have scored. Mudryk has them 3-1 up at RB Leipzig, so that shakes the group up a bit, because I think most people were looking at Shakhtar as being the one that Celtic would try and certainly overtake and take advantage of. But there we are, RB Leipzig 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 3.
I really think when you look at the other three teams, what a chance this is.
Yeah, Real are in again, and it's 3-0 to the champions of Europe, and that is why they have that title. It is a wonderful ball over the top, tapped across, the type of goal actually that Celtic score domestically to the other teams, and now they know how it feels. It's just rolled across the face. It's a tap in for Eden Hazard, and Real Madrid 3-0 up.
Yeah, they get caught 2v1 at the back here. Taylor's on Hazard. The ball's played perfectly, great run. Taylor's, I feel sorry for Taylor. He doesn't, he's got to go there, hasn't he? He's got to go with Hazard, but the cut back, the movement, the way the pass, so quick. Look, if you were tuning in and you just heard the score, you'd be thinking, this is a doing Celtic's got tonight. It's not. It's just the fact that
it could be, though. I mean, it's 15 minutes to go.
This is just a team with that much quality, and when they get an opportunity, they do something that Celtic's not achieved tonight. They punish you.
But let's be honest, it is a doing now. We can bum up Celtic for the first half, and rightly so, because they were very good. But teams like this don't play just for 45 minutes. They play for the full 90, and they punish you. And when they get a sniff of blood, they will keep going for you. That's exactly what you're up against here. Now we've got another 15 minutes left here, and Real Madrid just cut Celtic open at ease there.
Chance for Celtic, and it just drifts past the post. It was unconventional. It was nice from Turnbull and then down the line, and Jota volleyed it across. I think Kyogo just kneed it up into the air, and it almost caught out Thibaut Courtois, but in the end it goes wide.
It's the first time Jota's really getting behind the fullback. He plays a nice ball in, and Kyogo, as you said, Gordon, I think it come off his knee. Sometimes with a little bit of luck when things are going for you.
And again, Celtic do press well there, and it forces Real Madrid to just roll the ball out of play. But these are fine margins, and Real Madrid are making Celtic pay 3-0. And you just, Mark, for me, the goal there, the awareness is unbelievable. Hazard can see the full move panning out because he backs into Greg Taylor and he points behind him to tell everyone to put the ball there. And that's what people talk about when they say they're 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, world class. They can just envisage the move, and you know what it is. Hazard knows Cruz can hit that pass.
Yep.
He knows Carvalho can cut it back, so they know each other's got the quality to do it, and it must be a joy to play in something like that.
Their movement kills Greg Taylor. I feel for him.
I'm with you, because I think he was 2v1. I don't know where Gaines has been dragged or Carter Vickers there, but I mean, from a Madrid point of view, it's a wonderful goal for Celtic. You can pick holes in it, but it's been a lesson. Ange Postecoglou says he was going to play one way, he was going to keep it that way, he would learn lessons, they would dust themselves down perhaps and go again a different way if it didn't work. Well, of course they'll learn lessons for this tonight. It's been enjoyable. It's been enjoyable to watch.
I think it's been a brilliant game.
Yeah.
I think the supporters that will come out of Celtic Park will have enjoyed it as well. Yes, not enjoy the result. Look, if you're going along there tonight, and we heard callers talking about, I fancy Celtic to win 3-1, that's pie in the sky. As much as we'll love the way Celtic are playing, the fast flowing football, you're coming up against, we're talking there that they're bringing on 18-year-old players at 40 million. You're on a different planet here.
They're bringing on Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior's having. You see Rodrigo coming on,
Asensio to replace Luka Modric.
Give me a break.
Exactly, and that's the level. But to be up against that level, to play against that level, to learn tonight, some of these players, we highlighted it. Matt Riley was playing at Cheltenham last year. He's now played against European champions tonight in front of 60,000 at Celtic Park. Abad is a young lad at 20 years of age, learning and getting this experience as well. It's been absolutely brilliant for Celtic. But you're right, when it comes to a bit of class, when it comes to when you really need to step up, these guys do it every year at a massive club.
You know what amazes me? We had callers, maybe 3 or 4 of them, on earlier this evening saying they thought Real Madrid players would be spooked by the atmosphere at Celtic Park. It's nonsense. It's not a thing nowadays. The modern day player and how they just treat these games and the amount of big games they play in, nothing spooks them. If anything, it gets the Celtic players up for it, and that's what it showed that in the first half. But when Madrid score, they just become comfortable. Nothing spooks them, and that's how they get the second goal, where they start passing it about from the goalkeeper to the centre forward.
It was good from Celtic, that Jens to Turnbull to Jota. Celtic have still done a lot right. It's just the level. That's really it,
Gordon. And I'm not knocking, as we got a chance. I'm not knocking.
Touch McGregor. He gets it back off his face. Now Greg Taylor has it and pokes it out to Jota. Celtic are into the box, still attacking, still trying over the top though from Jota. Time to even change him, Mark. 10 minutes to go. Can someone else come on? And...
is stripped and ready to come on.
Yeah, he's the one tonight. He's not got involved. Giakoumakis first half I thought done alright. Abada, get any good positions, didn't have the composure. There's things that you'll get away with domestically. Now, for instance, the third goal at the back post, Greg Taylor probably domestically would get away with that because they wouldn't see the pass, wouldn't see the movement. They're not at that level, and I'm not being disrespectful to our Scottish teams, but they're not at this level. The minute that pass is hit, Greg Taylor must be thinking, I'm in trouble. And all of a sudden, touch, and it's a finish and game over.
Campbell, the way Hazard orchestrated it was just telling people where to put it, and he could see it all unfolding.
Well, how much? He's what was he from Chelsea? Incredible.
105 million or something.
Yeah, so
and he doesn't get a game.
He doesn't get a game. That's what you're dealing with. As I said, this was going to always be a tough task, but it's a great learning curve.
Great press that from Dyson Maeda. I mean, you need the break of the ball at times as well. So he presses well, but Real win it back. Then they give it away sloppy. And here's Haksabanovic for the first time. It looks like he doesn't know which way he's about to turn. So that's good because the opposition don't then if he doesn't know.
It's one of the ones you're running up and going, I might be shooting that way.
Bit confused there. But like Celtic for the last, if it's 10 minutes with stoppage time included, need to just keep going at it. They need to just try and give the fans something to cheer about at the end of the night. And you feel for them because they've come up against a far superior squad that know this level, who play this level year in, year out, who win this trophy every couple of years. And the gap is just shown. But look, the other two teams in the group, I think they should look at them, and there's definitely points here to be won in them ones, so it's no disaster tonight.
Yeah, I honestly, apart from Celtic fans, I didn't think that Celtic could go as much as their first half performance was very good, and I thought they were unlucky. But Mark made a great point. When you're playing teams like this, it's 90 plus minutes. And it's very difficult to keep going because they'll get a hold of the ball, they'll move you about, they'll tire you out, they'll create chances, 2 or 3 passes, your ball could be in the back of your net. It's just a step up in quality. There's no disgrace in it.
I alluded to it before the game. We're always so quick when it gets to this European level. We'll say, look at this. I've done it myself tonight. He was 40 million, he was 40 million, he's 100 million. So, what about at the weekend when Celtic play a St Mirren or a Motherwell or whoever? It's that sort of. If Motherwell were to go and play Celtic, you probably can't afford to hit the post and then miss a few other chances and then have all those moments go by, because eventually Celtic will pick you off, and all we're seeing is that food chain shifted.
100%. But I think this team is probably a little bit above that again, if you know what I mean.
I know it's a rough comparison.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but I think there was that, and that I'm giving Celtic a lot of pats in the back here because I think it is that big a task. But for that 45 minutes, Celtic I thought were excellent. I thought they were unlucky not to get 1-0. But Mark said the great point. You against
it's good from Haksabanovic. He stings the palms of Thibaut Courtois, and Celtic still pressing forward, still doing a lot right. But that's the closest they've come in quite a while now. And just the angle, Mark sort of beat him. Yeah, it was good from Haksabanovic though. Squared up the defender, chopped inside. Didn't see Jota do that too often. I think that's a really good save actually. If Courtois gets a strong right hand to it, he tries to go near post. Positive stuff. Incredibly, Real Madrid might not even be top of this group because it's RB Leipzig 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 4. What a result that is. It really is, isn't it? Aye. Kyogo, a bit sloppy from him. We've not seen much of him at all since he came on. Just lets the ball run out of play. But
that's good play, but it's got to be special to be a goalkeeper of that quality.
How many months ago was it that he pretty much won Real Madrid the Champions League with his performance in the final?
See when you're at that angle and you probably look up and see the size of him and covering the goals, you've got such a small target to aim for. Top quality goalkeeper. Remember his interview after the Champions League final? Just used it to lash out at everyone in England who doubted him. Did he really? I can't remember it. It was salty, to say the least. Very. Fair play. No, it was weird. A lot of people did doubt him at Chelsea. There was just a bit too much attention paid to it. Like I got it. It was like something, a rap album. Just calling out all these haters.
It was bizarre, but anyway, yeah, he's not bad, and he's kept a clean sheet so far tonight, and it doesn't necessarily look like changing.
No, I mean, it's showing the distance he's ran, the ball possession. Celtic 36%.
Celtic as a team have run 10 kilometres more than Real Madrid because they've had to.
Yeah, tells a story. You know, everything Madrid, particularly this second half, has been done so controlled, so precise. Their passing is zipped. The move for the second goal is tremendous. The third goal, probably equally as good in terms of passing and accuracy and killer instinct. It's been terrific to watch. You know, real top players play at the top of their game, and they've had to be. You've got to say that they had to step it up, Real Madrid, in the second half, because Celtic forced them into that.
We also said, even last night, we called it, we alluded to it at the start of the show, they're an incredible winning machine. They haven't had to come and rip Celtic apart. They've not absolutely battered Celtic. It's not been backs to the wall, defend for your life, but they're 3-0 up, and they might add to it.
They built themselves into this game, Gordon. They know the experience they've got. You were looking at Celtic, everybody was talking about the excitement and goals, and Celtic's performance was very good early doors. But you know this team are going to come into the game.
There's Callum McGregor into the box, fires one across. Maeda just tries to take it first time and
snatches at it again.
Snatches at it.
He's very much like that, Maeda, in the box. Look, Maeda, good at pressing, he will score you goals, but you've got to say, when it comes to him in that area, I'm talking domestically as well, he does snatch at things, and often it
does things very
strikes
quick.
off him. Yeah,
very
but
quick.
If we're talking about the efficiency of this Real Madrid team, for instance, what's the benchmark for these types of nights was Tony Watt night. It was Barcelona. Celtic were much worse that night.
Yeah.
They got a doing that night in comparison to tonight. Yeah, they win the game, and tonight they're 3-0 down.
What they did do that night though was score first. Was it Wanyama? And I always thought that was going to be important tonight, that Celtic scored first, to give them something to cling on to give them energy. You just seen the life sucking at them a bit when Real Madrid scored, like, oh, here we go. So the all important first goal.
I can't disagree with that. When you're the underdogs, and let's face it, Celtic were underdogs tonight, you've got to get the first goal. See, as long as that game's going and then the opposition score, you're thinking, oh no, it's going to be a long way back. And then within 5 minutes,
it's the 4 minutes, so I think it's the second one totally kills it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you can possibly live with the first one, even though I take Mark's point, but you could possibly live with that one. It goes 2. But again, I mean, they're allowed to, because there's no urgency for Real. Celtic are knocking it about quite well on the edge of the box. Then it's the killer one from Moy that gets cut out, and here come Real Madrid looking to make it 4. Celtic have got 4 men back. It's a 4-on-3 in Celtic's favour, and it gets slashed wide of Joe Hart's goal.
I thought he was going to find the top corner with that.
They love that situation. Real Madrid wide players love just being allowed to run at the centre halves. Carter Vickers tries his best there to hold them up, and they get away with one. And 4-0 would be
it's quite open,
harsh.
weirdly, for the 89th minute. Celtic are now walking it towards the box. That's brilliant from, is it Maeda? Stands up, and it's almost Haksabanovic in between the two, corner to Celtic.
You'd like to see Maeda doing that earlier on in the half. That's why he was put on. You know, get the ball to Maeda, use your pace, and get, you know, some sort of quality into the box. We've not seen him. All we've seen him do is press, but that's probably down to Madrid, how they've played.
Aaron Moy's going to float that one in, but it's going to be offside, I think, against Kyogo. No, it's not.
I didn't fancy him to win that anyway.
Strange.
Past 7 foot behind him.
Not really sure of the thinking. The corner gets passed to Moy, who then delivers a flat, straight ball rather than the cross from David Turnbull. I think Haksabanovic maybe got away with one there, but it's going to work out for Celtic because he's into the box. Good sliding tackle, and that's actually a goal kick in the end. But Haksabanovic had a sight at goal.
Got to say, he's been positive
for
the few minutes he's been on.
He's been very positive. I've got to say tonight, as much as he's on the losing side, I think Callum McGregor's been brilliant. Really do. But do you know what turned the game for me? I think I look at the experience of the manager, and you know, he's a serial winner, Ancelotti. You can't take that away from him. He changed it at half time with the defender, and they've just looked so different. They look so confident. They're not giving up Celtic many chances. Maeda had that one for Juranovic, but apart from that, they've looked absolutely solid, which has allowed their midfield to go and dominate the game, and their movement in the front three have killed Celtic.
Yep, 2 minutes added on. that sometimes is the case when there's not a lot of life left in a game. We see that in recent weeks here as well. In fact, there's only 30 seconds of that left, so unless something drastic happens here, it will finish Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. Lots to like about the Celtic performance, but we all know how important the result is. It's the most important thing, and that will not go Celtic's way, so it will be a pointless start to the group stage campaign. And we'll get the eyewitness account from Gabriel very soon. I'm sure the Celtic fans will still make a fair bit of noise. There's quite a lot of them left, you have to say, and just to show their appreciation for the efforts their team have put in. And of course, between now and 11 o'clock, we're going to take your calls. We'll get the thoughts of Ange Postecoglou. This is what these big Champions League nights are all about, and it's finished at Celtic Park. Gabriel?
Yeah, full time here at Celtic Park. It is Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. A brilliant game and a tough scoreline for the Hoops, but they were given a harsh lesson in the second half by the European champions. Goals from Vinicius Jr., Luka Modric and Eden Hazard, securing an opening 3 points for the visitors. Pre-game, it was one of the best atmospheres you'll see at Stade or Match. You can still hear it now. Ange Postecoglou promised that his team would go for it. They certainly did that. Leo Labada almost opened the scoring within the first 30 seconds. At 12 minutes in, there was a break from the corner, rapid counter-attack. Jota whipped the ball through to Abada again, but it was a really tame effort straight at Thibaut Courtois. Areo Hatate then hammered one from 25 yards out. Courtois had to parry the ball out, and 1 minute later was Celtic's best chance. Cal McGregor rattling the inside of the post from the edge of the box after Giakoumakis had laid it off to him. Celtic was certainly the better team in the opening 30 minutes. Real Madrid's best chance came when Vinicius Jr. Came through on the break. He was one-on-one pretty much from the halfway line, a trademark run, but Joe Hart made himself big, made an excellent save with his legs, and that ensured it was 0-0 at the interval. But the Hoops were disappointed not to be in front. They took Leo Labada off for Dyson Maeda at half-time, and Maeda nearly scored within 2 minutes of coming on. Ivanovic hammered the ball across, and 8 yards out it landed at his feet, but he didn't quite connect with the ball. The Hoops then became a bit ragged, and Real Madrid showed why they are Real Madrid. In the 56th minute, Fede Valverde started a counter-attack with a flick on the halfway line. He then got the ball back, whipped it to the far post. Josip Juranovic was caught sleeping, and Vinicius Jr. was there at the back post to slide in. A goal almost a carbon copy of the one that won Madrid the Champions League back in May. 3 minutes later, Madrid doubled their lead. They pushed forward, Luka Modric got on the ball in the box, he cut back inside and curled the ball with the outside of his boot. As we've seen so many times before, Joe Hart couldn't keep it out. The game was really beyond Celtic then, and Eden Hazard capped it off in the 77th minute. It was a wonderfully orchestrated move. Toni Kroos, who'd been magnificent all night, lifted the ball over to Dani Carvajal, who cut it back. Hazard tapped it in, and that was that. Celtic will be annoyed that they were so nullified in the second half, and schooled really by Real Madrid, but they can hold their heads high. They certainly showed the best side of Scottish football on the European stage. They'll be proud of their performance. They gave it a real go, but they were just outdone by the European champions, and they won't be the last team to get stung by Real Madrid. There's still a long way to go in this Champions League campaign, but full time here at Celtic Park is Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3.
Come on then, it's over to you, Celtic fans. What did you make of that? Even if you're not a Celtic fan and you watched it, get in touch. 0141 951 1025. That's the commitment we've made to these big Champions League nights. We're going to stay on until 11 o'clock for the late games, because we want to hear from you. Where would the fun in us three watching it at home be? We thought we'd watch it with you and find out what you made of it at the end. So come on down. 0141 951 1025. What did you make of the performance, Celtic fans? Can you take any heart from it? What about the big moments? What were the things that went against you? Maybe you're more of a results driven type of football fan and you don't take much away from the performance. You see a 3-0 defeat's a 3-0 defeat. Whatever you made of it, now is the chance to get in touch. Of course, we might find a bit of time later to preview Ajax against Rangers tomorrow as well. But whatever it is that's on your mind, whatever you made of it, please share it with us. We'd love to hear it. 0141 951 1025. Sum it up for us, Mark Wilson.
Well, a disappointing night if you look at results wise, because fans went along expecting a result tonight. But if it was competing with Real Madrid, they looked for it well. They got about 45 minutes to 50 minutes of that. Ultimately, quality showed at the end. At this level, you will get punished if you don't take your chances when you get them. These teams will pick you off, and that's what's happened tonight. Celtic started well, had chances, clear-cut chances, but didn't take them. Madrid at the other end did, and that's the story of the night.
The players can feel very proud of themselves, Gordon. I'm sure that supporters will be on here echoing that. But they were up against a top class side. I said earlier at half time I thought they were a bit unlucky not to get in leading, but the game's over in 90 plus minutes, and the class the cream came to the top, and there's no disgrace in that. Real Madrid are the current holders. They've got team full of quality 18-year-olds that pay 40 million for. Celtic, not lack of effort, just the fact that we're up against a top class side tonight.
Look, I mean, sometimes you get a feel for it, Mark. The Celtic fans are still there. They're still singing. They were happy with what they saw up to a point. Like, no one, it would be foolish of us or anyone to gloss this too much. Celtic lost 3-0, the bottom of the group. They conceded 3 times and didn't score any. Those are cold hard facts, but the beauty of football is there's always a deeper analysis to be done, and there were obvious positives there for Celtic.
Yeah, well, the positives are, in my point of view, is that Ange Postecoglou, what he's brought to this club, he's true to his word. Now, it's one thing saying it in the pre-match press conference that they're going to stick to their way of playing, and he believes that way. That's the way to test his side. But it's another thing actually doing it. How many times have we heard managers say in the past, "That's the way I'm going to play, I'm going to really go at these teams," and then you look at it and you go, they've sat in the 18-yard box. Celtic, for the first half anyway, went at Real Madrid, went toe to toe with them. You know, Callum McGregor and Hatate and O'Reilly was as good as the Real Madrid midfield. They hit the inside of the post. Abada should have done better with a couple of his chances, and the only real chance Madrid had was the one that Junior went through in heart. Now, the second half was a totally different story, but I think the Celtic fans are staying behind tonight because they appreciate the way that this guy sets his team out and the honesty behind it and the effort the players put in. Celtic fans aren't stupid. They know Real Madrid are world class players and they're Champions League winners and holders, but they appreciate the effort and the quality that their team put in.
What sums it up for me, Mark's quite simple. You look at Celtic tonight at home losing 3-0, right? 3-0, and I will guarantee you no Celtic fan will come on this phone and criticise Ange Postecoglou or a side, because I think Mark's right. If you sit back and take a good look at it realistically, yes, you go along to Celtic Park full of hope, hoping it could be your night, but you're up against top quality opposition. I thought the Ancelotti at half-time, his substitution, and it was a defensive one, just shows you the class. That's why he's won so many trophies and honours. I just thought that they looked different class in the second half. I really did.
That's all well and good. What do Mark WIlson and Gordon Dalziel think? Fine, but what do you think? What did you make of it, Celtic fans? You were the ones that were emotionally invested, so let's go through it all. There's still an hour left. The open line is here. It's your chance to have your say, and now is the time. 0141 951 1025, and we will speak to you next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Carl Robert Accident Repair. Accident not your fault? You'll be back on the road within 24 hours. Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Land Rover, part of the Lookers family. Search online, order and choose home delivery or collection with Click and Drive. Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Jaguar, part of the Lookers family. Be ready for any journey. Book now for service and repairs. After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Come on then, what did you make of that, Celtic fans? It had positives, no doubt, but ultimately a 3-0 defeat at home to Real Madrid. That's why they're the European champions. Let's go through it all in the presence of Gordon Dalziel and Mark WIlson. Join us and tell us what you thought. Craig's a Celtic fan in Johnston. Sum it up, Craig.
Hi, Barrow. I thought tonight, up until their first goal, I thought Celtic were well in the tie. It kind of shows, though, that the quality they have up top. I feel as if they only had 2 or 3 chances and they took them. Saying that, the third goal's quite classy. But if you look at the chances that Celtic had, they've hit the post from Callum McGregor. Abada should put his laces through the ball in the first half, and then the one that comes off Maeda in the second half. But I feel strongly if we keep playing like that in the Champions League, even against RB and Shakhtar, I think we could come out the other side of it in the last 16.
Yeah, Mark, 3 quality chances for Celtic then that Craig outlines, and maybe even a couple of other that would fall in the next category, maybe a bit more of a half chance or whatever. But McGregor is the inside of the post. I said it was inches earlier. It's not that, it's centimetre. I don't know, change the measurements, but it's It's extremely close, right, to going in. Abadas and Maeda's, they'd be the pick of the bunch, yeah?
Yeah, I thought Abada's 2 chances, the one early on, I thought Giacomakis should turn, but he lays it. He should even do better with that. Abada's one, Craig's right. I mean, domestically, he takes another touch, he puts his laces through it, it's a goal. He's been so good at that. He was tentative, maybe the occasion came to him early. McGregor's one, look, it's unfortunate, a brilliant strike. And then Maeda, those are the ones, and at those times in the game as well, if you think of Abada's chances early on in the first half, you get the crowd on side, it's a different game. And then when Maeda comes on early in the second half, you know, just think what that would have done for the game. But then you flip it, and when Madrid have that bit of quality from goalkeeper to right back to striker and through, when it falls to Junior, he makes no mistake and puts it away. And that's the difference in levels. And just knocked his stuff in out of Celtic. The second goal is the real killer because it comes so soon.
Because that's the point, Gordon. Sometimes it's 3-0 and you're against the European champions. Think, oh, that could have been anything. That actually wasn't a night like that.
No, I felt for Celtic tonight. I thought the important thing tonight, Gordon, just watching the game, Celtic had to get the first goal. You know, when you're up against a team of the quality that Real Madrid's got, and you're creating the chances, you get back to the chances. McGregor, listen, it's just one of those things. It's inches, between hitting the post and getting in. It's just incredible effort, and he's unlucky. I think the best chance that could have maybe turned the game in Celtic's favour was Maeda's. I think the quality ball from Juranovic, the pace is on it, everything's on it. If he adjusts his feet better and he gets a decent touch on it, I think he scores. But the minute Real Madrid scored, for me, the game was gone.
How do you sum up how you feel, Craig? Because like Celtic fans are used to winning. I'm not sure you can be like that satisfied with a 3-0 defeat, but I don't know, I feel like there'll be still quite a bit of positivity around. Is that fair?
Oh look, the players have done us proud tonight. They've not went in and sat in like the olden day Celtic. I reckon if it was under Neil Lennon, Brendan Rodgers, an old Celtic team would have went in, sat in, and it'd have finished 3-0 regardless. So when you're seeing your team going and attacking a team like Real Madrid, like not many teams will do that. Your top level teams in the English Premier League, France, Germany will all go and do it, but out with the teams, you don't expect it. You expect a team to sit in, and the way total opposite, go and attack the game. It's brilliant, and like you say, we're so proud of that team. You heard it, you must have the supporters through your telly. We're there to the end, and that's it. We stand by our team.
Should have asked at the start, Craig. I mean, I can hear you're in the car. Were you at the game?
Yes.
How was it? I mean, to be back in the Champions League after a few years out at home to Real Madrid of all people, how was it?
The dreams are made, to be fair, innit? As a supporter, you want to see your team play these elite teams, as they call them. You want to, that's what the Champions League is there for. It's the place to be. You don't want to be put in a group where you're just playing teams that's similar to you. You want to be in that. You want to be playing the best, where you're Barcelona, you're Real Madrid, PSG. You can't really put words on it, especially with the atmosphere the way it is.
You know, Craig makes a point, Mark, about Celtic could have sat in and still lost 3-0. Is that where, and again, I have to temper some of this because Celtic lost 3-0, but is there still an element of vindication there for Ange Postecoglou? Because the narrative that formed last season is that Celtic would get, ripped apart in Europe and it would cost them. Celtic didn't lose 3-0 tonight because of the style of play, did they?
Well, there's an argument. We're watching some of the goals go in. They still played wide open at times. They were
were they any more open than Real Madrid were? Like in the balance of play?
No, probably not. But the difference is Real Madrid punish you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's not anything to do with style of play. Then
I think it was clinical finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but when you come up against these sides and you play open, and the top sides against Real Madrid, I'm talking in the Premier League, will still find it this way. They can punish you. So there is an argument that you play more defensive. But look, I think the fans going away. It's funny to say this. There'll be a sense of pride. And if anything, more belief in their manager because of what he said before the game and because of the way his team played. I'll say it again. There's one thing saying it in a press conference and another thing carrying it out against the European champions. Now the result isn't good. There's no way you can gloss over it. 3-0 at home is not good in the Champions League, but there were a lot of positives still to take from the way they played, wide open, in possession, and they really matched them for 45.
To be fair, Gordon, anyone who is pointing out positives, no one's trying to be positive about the result.
No.
It's the performance or parts of it.
Yeah, I go back to the first half. I go back to the first goal. It's so important. You're talking about, could Celtic have been more? No, I thought tonight they got it spot on. Yes, you're going to give up chances against Real Madrid if you play open football, but that's the way Celtic play. That's the way they're at their best. First half, I keep saying it. If I was Postecoglou, I'd have felt a bit disappointed not to begin in 1-0 up at least, right? So then you've got something to hold on to. But Ancelotti makes a great substitution at half time, defensively as well, and it makes such a difference. Celtic get cut open with some great quality play from some great players. Yes, you can pick holes in some of the defending, but see, when you're up against movement as good and as quick as these guys who play at a top level and cost hundreds of millions, it's sometimes hard to play against, let me tell you.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Hopefully you enjoyed your night despite the result. That was Craig on his way back to Johnston. Andy in East Kilbride, how do you sum things up?
I was quite proud of the way they played, especially. Don't think it's going to be an easier group than what we thought last week, especially if Shakhtar Donetsk are winning 4-1 away from home. RB Leipzig, I was not expecting that. I thought maybe with the way things are in the world, I thought with Shakhtar having to sell players, I thought that we would maybe not walk them, but we would be able to gain that third spot. Even with RB Leipzig last year against Rangers, I thought maybe even second spot, but I don't think it's going to be as open as what we think it is.
Yeah, I guess, Mark, if you look beyond the Celtic game tonight, a few eyebrows with that result. Shakhtar Donetsk 4-1 away at RB Leipzig. So
there's two ways of looking at that, I think, because you can look at it and go, well, this group is wide open, no one expected that. Or you could look at it and go, this Shakhtar must be a decent team. I think any team that goes away from home in the Champions League and scores 4 goals, they've got something about them.
Marian Shved getting 2 of them.
That's an interesting one. But look, those games aren't going to be easy. I think if Celtic play the way they did in the first half, then obviously it's an easier task against those two teams when they come to Celtic Park than it is tonight. So they'd be more positive about that.
So Andy, how damaging were the chances Celtic missed? Is that, you know, when you're on top in a game like this, you have to try and make it count?
I think it's a different total quality of game compared to league, obviously, and I think that we were totally tested tonight, and we're up against the European champions. You know what I mean? It's different class. I mean, I looked up that Camavinga, right, alone, it's worth 49 point whatever it is £1 million alone. Just one substitute sitting on that bench. That's more than what Celtic had paid this season for players. A lot more than what Celtic had paid this season for players. Maybe a lot of what they'd paid in the last 3 years for players. I think when you're up against that kind of opposition, you have to be realistic as well as a fan and say, right, okay, Celtic might get something. Realistically, you think we can maybe realistically can we get something against the kind of quality of that? I mean, that player Cross, they had him. I mean, I watched it tonight. In the first half, I thought maybe we could snatch a draw here. Second half, it was just, I mean, as I say, Ancelotti just changed the whole game, and it just we couldn't play the same as we did in the first half.
Yeah, you can understand how people might be a bit torn, Mark, a bit stuck in the middle, because I know this is not, I'm going to sort of exaggerate and paraphrase Andy, but if you go down that line of, look, they're bringing, I think they brought over that would have been about 200 odd million pounds worth of subs on, right? So there's a temptation to almost shrug your shoulders and say, oh well, what else can you do? We can't compete with that. But actually, if you've just sat and watched the 90 minutes, Celtic did at times compete with it and had to do better, themselves at times, because we're talking about domestically, what's that old cliche about the goals don't move sort of thing. Abada's chance is not one that really you know, what's the difference between doing that? Yeah, the goalkeeper will be a bit better, but it looked like it's the occasion that gets to him. Again, Maeda, that's just one that's flashed at him. It's instinctive. You're not missing them because you're playing Real Madrid.
Yeah, no, it's the occasion. And it'd be an insult to Ange Postecoglou and the players if he thought, you know, fans were going away saying, oh, they've got all this money, so we can't compete with them. Well, just don't turn up. It's not the way this Celtic team's been built. He thought that they could compete, and they did compete in the first 45 minutes. The big saying, like cliche, goals change games. If Celtic scored first, I'm convinced it would have been a different outcome. Whether that meant Celtic winning the game or taking a point, I'm convinced it would have been, because they would have got such a lift. In those moments, you know, Abada in particular, a man or a young lad, you've got to say, 20-year-old, he's been so good since he came, and especially in front of goal. He just looked like the occasion got on top of him, and he actually almost looked like he realised when he was running through, this is Real Madrid, I'm going to score in the Champions League. And it was the tamest effort you'll ever see.
Mark, I honestly, analysing that game, I think Ancelotti changed the game at half time, because if you think back to the first half, Celtic looked promising, sharp, created a few chances. Take Maeda's chance out the equation, right, from the ball from Juranovic, you never seen much of the front three.
Yep.
Jota,
but is that not more? I know you like to praise Ancelotti and the change, and I'm sure he does deserve a bit of that. But is that not actually just because the two goals that Real score knocks the wind out of Celtic's sails?
I always say the first goal would have probably knocked the wind out their sails, but the chances, the space, for instance, we were talking about how open the game was in the first half. Look at the space Abada got down the right hand side. Jota a couple of times, they were switching the ball all of a sudden. The one touches, Giakoumakis in the middle was causing. Second half, they never had those spaces to play in, and all of a sudden you didn't see Maeda, apart from that odd chance. You didn't see Jota until the last couple of minutes when he put a nice ball in.
I suppose that's
because they cramped that space down, and they suffocated
some
Celtic.
of it. But it's because it's not really measurable. I get it, you can't put your finger on it, but we'll never really know how much of that was psychological, will we? Because you go 2-0 down and the head goes down, and you don't have the same belief, and you don't have the same swagger, and you feel that bit more tired.
I don't think.
Look, I know you like to talk up the big managers, and I'm not saying it didn't have any impact, but he swapped one defender for the other. It didn't have a huge impact on the game, did it?
I think his substitution helps Real Madrid tremendously. I think it sort of stopped Celtic on not attacking and that front foot. See, when you're talking about goals change game, Mark's right, everybody knows that's a cliche. The minute second goal goes in, you look at some of the Celtic players, they became tired all of a sudden.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Does that not have a bigger impact on the match than a substitution that Ancelotti makes?
No, because what's happened is in the first half, when they're on the front foot, they're getting in behind Real Madrid, they're creating a couple of chances, they're looking lively. All of a sudden you're thinking, when was the last time Jota was on the ball? Giakoumakis isn't getting involved. So the substitution snuffed Celtic out in that area. It didn't give them
the space of 4 minutes.
Yes, the 4 minutes obviously killed. For me, the first goal kills them, because I agree. I think if Celtic had to get anything out of that game tonight, they had to be the ones who scored the first goal.
Right, thank you, Andy. Let's bring in Jamie, who's from Manchester. What stood out for you tonight, Jamie?
How you doing, mate? I'm actually from Clareland. I'm just down in Manchester working.
That's fine. Listen, we'll get that changed. Producer Ross, he's for Clareland. Let's put a local angle on it. What did you take away from tonight? Good, bad, or indifferent?
See, to be honest, I take a lot of good for it tonight. Fair enough, we get beat 3-0, but I mean, Callum McGregor tonight, he played sensational tonight. It's the first time I've seen him playing really, really well tonight. Controlled that midfield, sprayed the ball where we needed to go. I mean, apart from him hitting the post, we could have been at least 1-0 up in that first half.
Yeah, how good was he, Mark?
Frightening. Honestly, I said at half time, he looked that comfortable. He could have fitted in to Madrid's midfield. That's high praise when you look at the guys in that midfield.
Yeah, maybe need to settle for a place on the bench.
But just the way he took the ball, and you talk about bravery in footballers, you know, people always think bravery is flying into a tackle and, you know, riling up the crowd or getting somebody. Bravery is what McGregor did tonight. Take the ball, you know, lead his team in the right manner, play forward passes, you know, get shots off at the edge of the box. Even when the goals went in, he was still willing to take the ball and try to create. That's real bravery. That's a real captain. And you know, for years we've been saying how good he is, but I think when you measure him like that against the top, you get an idea of how good this guy is. So he's one that can go away, hold his head high. The other two in midfield were good as well. Hatate, O'Reilly, wee bit quieter but still good, but like just undone in the end.
Excellent.
Celtic's best player?
Oh, by a country mile.
Yeah.
I know there's an argument at half time, and I said Gabriel had a good cause when he was talking about Hatate. Thought he had a very good first half, Gordon, but over a piece I thought McGregor was absolute sensational tonight. I thought he covered every blade of grass. He was unlucky not to score. His passing range was very good. His work rate as a leader, as a captain. I thought McGregor probably had one of his best games in a long time in a Celtic shirt.
How much pride can you have in a 3-0 defeat, Jamie? Celtic fans won't have been here many times.
Right, well, we're playing the Champions League winners. Not, I mean, look, what really praise can you take? We took them to 56 minutes before they managed to get a goal. If we scored in the first half, what other praise can you take for that? We should be at least 1-0 up by then. Going into the second half, we maybe took the foot off the pressure a wee bit, but let them in at the back a wee bit. But apart from that, I mean, we're going to come second in that group stage, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. It's a sure man.
Not sure about that. I mean, I like your optimism, Jamie, but you see how difficult the games are at this level. They're so unpredictable. Look at that tonight. The other game, Leipzig against Shakhtar. Who would have called 4-1? It's Shakhtar. So
I'm sorry, it's the Marian Shved double I can't get over. He's destined to score against Celtic, isn't he, in this competition?
I know. So as good as Celtic were, these games will be difficult. But look, if they apply themselves the same way, and I've no reason to believe that they won't, because that's the way Ange Postecoglou's drummed into them, they will get results, because they will give teams problems. They gave Real Madrid problems tonight in that first half. They'll give the other two problems as well.
I agree, it's not going to be easy, Mark, but let me just say, they'll not come up. The other two teams aren't the same class as Real Madrid. Let's be honest about that. So for me, there's points there, but it certainly will not be easy. Of course it won't be. They'll have to play at their highest, and they've got to take the chances at this level. When you get those chances, you've got to take them. McGregor's completely different. That's just really unfortunate for him.
I mean, Mark, we're seeing some replays of some of the chances. See the first Abada one that's within 20 odd seconds. Giakoumakis doesn't realise that the defender's actually fallen over. Yeah. Giakoumakis can quite literally let the ball come across his body, and from 6 yards he's got the goal at his mercy.
Yeah.
But he thinks the defender's with him, so he quickly backheels it to Abada, and it's his shot that's deflected. So these are those little moments that, look, I'm loath to have this show on to 11 o'clock and try and analyse in detail and then just shrug your shoulders and say, oh well, you need a bit of luck. But sometimes you need a bit of luck. Look at Callum McGregor's shot. Can it come off 2 centimetres to the right and hit the post and go in?
Of course.
That, you know.
Yeah, we said at the start of the show, you need things to go your way. You need Madrid to be a wee bit off it. You need a rub of the green at the right time. You need goals at the right time. That all applied in that first half. The Giakoumakis one there after so many seconds, I actually threw my hands up in real time thinking, why is he laying that off? I even think when it's laid off to Abada, he could have done two things. He could have taken a touch in his right and finished it quickly, or he could have taken it inside and finished it his left. He thrashed at it, and that's, I'll always come back to this, that's the difference at this level. See another box, that doesn't happen. It's composed, it's assured, and it ends up usually in the back of the net.
I feel for a centre forward. It's okay I was looking at it in the
we
replay.
see slow motion replay as well. Yeah,
exactly. He doesn't know that the defenders went down. In his eyes, he's doing the right thing. To be fair to him, if the defender's not going down, he definitely does the right thing. I think it's a little bit of composure. I said earlier, I just had a feeling for Abada. He get took off at half time. There's no discredit to that. The lad's young. It was a learning curve for him tonight. He got into good positions. I just thought he lacked a wee bit composure tonight, Abada.
3 features of the Real Madrid team. What's more iconic, right? The Toni Kroos switch of play, the Luka Modric outside of the boot finish, or the Carlo Ancelotti raised left eyebrow.
He loves it, doesn't he?
What he's on TV at the moment.
Do you know, I've just noticed that.
You've never seen that
I've
before?
I've
Remarkable.
just noticed that.
It's in a different
How
altitude from his other one.
Yeah. See, to be
Look
fair,
at him trying that.
Even no, don't do that again. Don't do that again. He looked calm, composed on the touchline. Even when Celtic were on top, he didn't panic. But that comes from his CV and what he's got behind him. Terrific manager.
Do you think with the titles he's got under his belt, he's going to panic? There's absolutely no chance. He's the coolest guy on the planet, him.
Thank you, Jamie. 01419511025. Hopefully we'll hear from the managers very soon. Indeed, I'm sure you're keen to hear their thoughts. Keep those calls coming. We're here until 11 o'clock.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Why call your insurance? Let Robert take away the hassle.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark WIlson and Gordon Dalziel are asking you to get in touch and pour over what happened at Celtic Park tonight. The feedback so far, lots of positivity, lots of praise for Celtic, but they did lose 3-0 of course, and that is never a position you want to be in. So let's go to Mark, who's in Cumbernauld. Mark, were you at the game?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Good
evening, guys.
Evening, Mark.
Yeah, it was it was unbelievable. To be honest, I'm still quite on a high, even though we got beat 3-0. Some of the football Celtic played in that first half against probably the best team in the world right now was outstanding, and I was really proud, considering where we were a year and a half ago, to be standing up toe to toe and actually going toe to toe with Real Madrid. Bearing in mind, we've got taught about a lesson in the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but that's where we want to be. That's the kind of games you want to be playing against, and the teams you want to be playing against, and they were outstanding. I thought Celtic were outstanding. I've got to say as well, what a player Modric is. I think there's some sort of witchcraft involved with this guy, man. He's just so good. I've never. I mean, he got. I was a part of the game. He got caught in the line. There's 3 Celtic players around him, and they got out of it like it was like taking a glove off his hand. It was unbelievable. It was so good. But yeah, I'm actually quite pleased. Even though we lost the game, I thought they were they played really, really well.
Turns 37 on Saturday or Friday, can't remember which day it is, but it's in the next couple of days.
He's a year younger than me. I mean, and he's still cutting about doing things like that.
15 years older than you.
He does. I know. I'm looking well in the face.
His
Not so
knees
much in the
are okay.
belly and the knees. Mark's right. Mark will be. I would say in the majority of Celtic fans that when they reflect it, I guess overall, and Mark says a year and a half ago, it's only natural to go back and think about the shambles at the start of last season and Ange Hu when he came in, and then all of a sudden it's Ange Postecoglou against Carlo Ancelotti, the best team in the world, and Celtic really going at it and really having a go. That's why the Celtic fans won't be too disheartened going away tonight, because the team went for it. They didn't sit in, they didn't absorb pressure, they didn't just look for a break of the ball or Joe Hart to make save after save. They actually went for it, and if you come undone like that, you do get cut a bit of slack.
Do you agree with that, Mark? Do you think you'd have felt any different? Let's say Celtic had parked the bus back to the wall and lost 3-0. Would you be feeling more negative about the same result?
Yeah, I probably would have, because I've been to Celtic Park when Gordon Strachan was manager. I was at the Brendan Rodgers games in Europe as well, and Martin O'Neill era. I kind of go back further than that. But Celtic, we did sit back quite a lot. Not all the time, but we did sit back against the bigger sides. And if you got turned over, then like I think Ange Postecoglou said yesterday in his press conference, you're only going to know how good you are if you go up and play at your best level against the best teams there. You can sit in, and I know some of the games last year Rangers sat in and they got some really good results. But I think if you're Celtic and the way we play, I think you'd be doing yourself and your fans a disservice if you go and sit in, park the bus and take a hiding anyway. So you may as well go out, show everybody what you've got, And if it doesn't work out, then you know what level you're at, you know what you try to achieve, then, you know.
To be fair, Mark, the Gordon Strachan team, you were part of it.
Yeah.
Qualified for the last 16 of the Champions League.
Yeah, and what's funny, I've got personal experience of this. Always remember played AC Milan at home the last 16. World class players on that side. Kaká was player of the year. I think Pirlo, Maldini and all that. We drew 0-0 with him, and we were criticised for drawing 0-0 with him at home. Now, we were more defensive than far more defensive than Ange Postecoglou's side, but it was a good result against, I think they went on maybe to win it that year. Again, 3-2 against Barcelona. It was a wee bit more open, but again it was seen as a negative because this team came and won at Celtic. But I think Ange Postecoglou's got so much credit in the bank just now with these Celtic fans, how he's transformed this club.
So what, is he getting off lightly?
No, I don't think he's getting off lightly, but I think they just
like
love the way he plays, and it is eye-catching. We were 45 minutes in saying what a terrific game this is. We weren't saying Celtic are stifling Real Madrid. We came in here at 45 minutes and said Celtic are unlucky not to be ahead, and Real Madrid have hardly did anything. That's where the Celtic fans have so much faith in him, and I can only see it getting better. The more he works at it, the better it gets, and that's why there's so many positives in a 3-0 defeat, which is weird.
I listened to everyone coming on here and saying, Celtic went at it because that's the way they play. Right, where I give Celtic credit is it's okay as a coach or a manager saying, right, we're going to be in the front foot, we're going to attack. You've still got to go out and achieve that, Gordon. You've still got to go out and play that way. You're playing against top quality players. They created a few chances. They were unlucky. For me, especially early doors, cut the corner kicks, gets the momentum going. I thought they were unlucky not to get 1-0 up. I think they deserved to get in at half time the lead, but I thought Real Madrid second half, different class. Minute the goal goes in, heads go down, second goal kills it. But as much as you say, well, we didn't sit in defensive, our game plan was to go forward, they've still got to put that game plan into action, and I think they're brilliant at it. And that's why I think he plays that way.
Mark, what negatives would you find though? Because look, I get it, we can all shrug our shoulders and say they're the champions, they're better, but that's football. Celtic will go back into the league this weekend, and the financial gulf between them and Livingston will be ridiculous. But Livingston and Marvin Bartley and David Martindale will still think, we needed to do that better, we defended poorly here, and we should have done that, and we should have done the next thing. What improvements did Celtic need to make tonight, or what annoyed you about any element of it?
No, two things really, and I'll probably get laughed at for saying this. I think he got the strikers round the wrong way at the wrong time. Even I would have played Celtic were at their best the first half, and they were so quick on the ball. Giakoumakis was brilliant. He held off Militao, so his name. He held him off. He did have a good game against him, but I think Real Madrid had a wee bit of there's more gaps in the first half because they were trying to have a go as well. And Celtic, I thought maybe they could have played Kyogo first half as they normally do, and Giakoumakis comes on the second half, and you get a bit more out of him bullying defenders. But another thing was, and Fadiano, I thought he made his substitutes a bit too late. So I thought the midfield for me, Matt O'Reilly, and especially Matt O'Reilly and Hatate, they had run out of gas by about 65 minutes because they'd put in a good shift. And I thought the legs were going a wee bit. And when the goal went down, when we lost the first goal, you could see the legs must have got heavy. And I thought he should have maybe made the changes then. And then by the time it's 2-0, the game's going. Bringing Furuhashi on, 2-0 down. I think it was 2-0 down. They brought Furuhashi on. The game's away, so that's the only thing I would have done. I maybe brought the subs on a wee bit earlier, but that's pretty much it.
Got to say, it's not a bad argument from Mark. There is an argument about the striking situation. Kyogo's fitness comes into it, but if he's fit enough on the bench and then to come on, then you assume he's fit enough to play. Celtic did look sharp in that first half. One incident in particular, the one that moved from Hatate to O'Reilly and through, and Giakoumakis caught in his heels. We were wondering if Kyogo, it's the type of thing he thrives off of. And Mark makes a good point when Giakoumakis comes on. He could have been physical, somebody to hold the ball up, get Celtic up the park. By the time they were a couple of goals behind, he looked tired, they looked gone. The midfield, again, I would agree with that to a certain extent. They did look tired. So, as much credit Ange Postecoglou gets, you're always going to pick holes when there's a 3-0 defeat.
I go against it. I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I did think they ran out of steam. the midfield players. But Real Madrid were 2-0 up after 60 minutes. So you're looking at 15 minutes into the second half. So, yeah, I think the heads go down at 2-0. But I don't think after 15 minutes of the second half, you're thinking, oh, they've run out of steam. They put such a great effort in and great workload. I think they looked really tired because after 60 minutes, the game's gone. And they certainly, their legs started tiring as well. But I don't think that the substitutions should have, because remember, he made a substitution in 45 minutes. He made a substitution at half time. So he ain't going to then make 2 or 3 15 minutes later. If he was going to do that and he felt that they were tired, he should have made them at half time. So I don't agree with the argument about he should have made the substitutions early.
I mean, Mark, there'll be plenty of time to explore this in more detail when the fixture comes up. But how important is it Celtic now, whatever it is, you think they can take away that they build on it in what's perceived to be the more winnable fixture? Because this good performance, so-called, in a 3-0 defeat, it won't count for very much if Shakhtar go and beat them convincingly in the next game, will it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 Marks and you're both at Cumbernauld. Mark on the phone, what do you think?
No, I agree with you. I was looking at the fixture list just there, and we've got Shakhtar Donetsk, and I think they turned Leipzig over tonight quite convincingly.
Yeah, 4-1.
So it's going to be I personally think that Celtic are at that level where we could go and take the game to them, and we could go and take the game to Leipzig as well. I mean, Real Madrid, they went to England 4 times last year, and they beat the three of the best teams in England quite convincingly, I think. So the other two sides, we're in it to win it, really. We're going to lose goals. That's how we play. We'll lose goals in Europe, but it's as if you can score more than them. I think hopefully we'll be able to do that. I think the home games are the big ones as well. We have to get something away from home, at least a point, and then win the next 2 games at home if we've got any chance. But what I've seen in the first 45 minutes, anyway, I think we're capable of doing that. I think Gordon said a wee while ago there that they're not the same level as Real Madrid, so I think we've got maybe a better chance to take maybe a few goals off for these teams, or make it a bit more competitive and give us a fighting chance to get out of it.
Yeah, it's funny, you don't need any higher praise than they're European champions. That sort of covers it. But you forget that they knocked all 3 English teams out last season to get there. Chelsea, Man City beat Liverpool in the final. They are top of La Liga right now. Unbeaten start to the season. So it's just in case anyone was in any doubt.
You're in a different level, Gordon, there's no doubt. Look, I still believe, and I said it the minute the draw came out, Real Madrid was your glamour one. Of course it was. Every Celtic fan that was there tonight will tell you, I know they lost 3-0, don't like losing, but the occasion, everything about it, they would have loved. There's still points in this group for Celtic to go and get, no doubt for me.
Let's hear a bit from Carlo Ancelotti. Here's what he made of it.
Celtic is a good team. We were worried about the game because we knew what they did against the Rangers, and we suffered the first half, but it was absolutely normal to suffer here. The atmosphere at the stadium is fantastic, and we are happy to show to the supporter good football.
I think he knows, Mark. Did he say we suffered here a bit? Something along those lines. I think he knows they certainly were in a game, but ultimately it must be nice to know that even if you get a couple of jabs, that you can come away with a 3-0.
Yeah, well, that's why they're the best team in Europe, defending champions. I mean, they've been there before over the course and distance. They've had periods worse than what Celtic gave them that first half, and they know how to win. Like he says, they were worried about the game, but it's respectful. It should be going away from home, the Champions League. That's what makes champions. So it's a guy who knows what he's doing, in charge of a team full of world class players.
Thank you, Mark. What about Tam and Clyde Bank? How did you see it tonight, Tam?
Well, I'll sum it up as quickly as I can. That was a crying shame, right? We're 4 of us sitting in a flat tonight with a 70-inch telly, brand new, watching Celtic taking on Real Madrid, right? 4 times we flew off our seats. 4 great chances to score in the first half. You take 2 of them, you get in at half time 2-0 up. You come out in the second half, Maeda misses a sitter, a golden sitter. You're 3-0 up. This was
could have been a historical result tonight.
Tam, did you just come on here to let everybody know how big your telly is?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, a crying shame, by the way, right? And not only that, that result is flashed all over Britain, Germany, Spain, whole of Europe. Everybody's talking about the European Cup holders getting a battering, 3-4-0. And then I'm listening to you guys in the panel here, and you use the word Real Madrid scored in 61 minutes. That was just sort of like, it was like just busting your balloon. It burst your balloon, the first goal, and it wasn't about, for me, I don't think they're getting tired. Their legs are getting tired. It was their spirit. Their spirit was punctured with that goal. No their legs, no their bodies, because they would have went right on in 90 minutes. If they'd been winning that game, they'd have went right to the wire. And it was all about their spirit. And then obviously the second goal, game over. Their spirit is just battered.
Yeah, Tam, you make some great points there, but next time, look up on the screen, your 70-inch. It was 56 minutes they scored their first goal, 61 I think, or 60 they scored their second one. But look, you make a lot of good points here, because I did think Celtic gave up some good chances tonight, but the first goal was going to always be the one. It really did. I know that you say you're still in it 1-0, but you go 1-0 down against Real Madrid, then you have to take some more chances and more chances. The quality they've got, boom, 4 minutes later, game over. Turn your 70-inch screen off, save a bit of electricity.
Especially these days.
Yeah, especially these days. The game's finished. But look, I'm listening to Tam and his three mates, probably very proud of their team, very proud of their performance. And I think it goes back to a statement that one of the callers said, Gordon, think of where Celtic were a year and a bit ago, and they're up against Real Madrid tonight in the Champions League. It's fairy tale stuff with an exciting football side.
Thanks, Tam. Bragging about size, you're Gordon Dalziel's type of guy. It was nice to speak to you. 01419511025. We will hear from Ange Postecoglou next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Run a fleet of vehicles, let Robert manage them whatever the accident. The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We're into the final part of a long Clyde One Super Scoreboard this evening. We decided we would go big on these Champions League nights. Stay here till 11 so that you can have your say when it's done, and it should be good fun. Think about it, every time Celtic or Rangers play at home, 50, 60,000, you'll all be getting back in the cars and heading home from the stadium, so you can share your thoughts with us. We're about to hear from Elliot, but I'm sure of all the people that Elliot won't mind playing second fiddle to, it's Ange Postecoglou. We're going to hear from him in just a second. In fact, I'll tell you what, Elliot, you can be Ange Postecoglou's warm-up act. A dream for you, I'm sure. How do you feel about tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I've been listening to the show, and I agree with the sentiment of a lot of people have been saying it is disappointing, the result 3-0, but you are playing the European champions, and I wanted to just come on and compare it. I think we need to put it in a bit of perspective. I mean, this time last year, our opening game of the Europa League, we lost 4-0 to Bayer Leverkusen, and now we're talking about a completely different kettle of fish. We're stepping up the level so much, and we've went out and we've took the game to Real Madrid. We're unlucky to even go into half time with a draw. And I think that the quality of Real Madrid took over once our sort of players started to tire. I think the quality and the depth that they had in our squad took over. I mean, you're bringing off the best player in the world in Karim Benzema, and you're bringing off Eder Militao, who is a very good player, and you're bringing on arguably the best centre half in the world last season, and one of the best, and a few years ago, the best winger in the world, who went for 100-something odd million. So I think you have to compare. I mean, I've watched Celtic get beat by Leverkusen 4-0, get beat by, I remember watching Brendan Rodgers' team get beat 7-1 off PSG away from home, and that was where we sat in and we just took the beatings. Whereas this Celtic side are not willing to they're from the off, they're willing to go face to face with the best, no matter who the opposition is, and I couldn't be more proud of the team tonight.
Well, they are, but they still took a beating, in all honesty. But again, I'll go back to it's what Ange Postecoglou says before the game, and the way his players carried it out is what Elliot's talking about and why the Celtic fans are going home, switching on the radio and listening and thinking, yep, we agree with most of the callers. I've not had many voices come on and say 3-0 at home is a joke. In years gone by, I've been in this studio when Celtic have been in the Champions League. I've been on the pitch, and there's been fans that Celtic shouldn't lose at home in the Champions League. Well, there's a sense of reality, but it's the way that they went about their business, and especially the first half. They were very good, and against lesser teams they'd probably get something.
Is that where it's important though, maybe, Gordon, to focus on the performance rather than the result? Because Elliot says, let's remind us where we were. I mean, last year we lost 4-0 to Bayer Leverkusen. Tonight lost 3-0 to Real Madrid. You know, on a results comparison, that doesn't sound like a massive improvement, but I suppose it would be elements within that.
Yeah, compared to last year, Gordon, you look at the team, you look at the brand of football, you look at the players that this manager's brought in, you look at the relationship the manager's got with the supporters as well. You'll never hear a supporter saying a bad word about him. He's just brought a club together. It was a fantastic night for them. Yes, unfortunately they come up against a team, especially second half, that knows how to win big games. They know how to go over a line. They've got quality players. Elliot mentioned, players are coming on for 100-odd million, and the riches they've got at their disposal is incredible. As I said, I looked at this group. Real Madrid is the showpiece games. There are points there for Celtic. If they continue playing and working hard the way they're doing, they'll certainly get points.
Elliot, hang on the line if you don't mind. Here's what your manager made of it, and we'll get your reaction once he's done.
Oh yeah, obviously disappointed with the outcome. I thought the first goal in the game was always going to be important, and up until that point I thought we were well in the game. If anything, we had the better chances, and we need to capitalise on them, and we didn't. Once the goal went in, and they got the quality to take control of the game. We tried to press on, and again, they were able to then exploit the spaces we left. So up until sort of the 60-minute mark when they scored, I thought we were well in the game. But you learn at this level that you'll get punished if you don't take your chances. I just feel the responsibility of bringing this football club to this level, and that's what these fans deserve. I mean, there's no starker reminder of that than the reception they gave us after the game. They deserve to see their football club competing against the likes of Real Madrid on a regular basis and really competing. So I feel that responsibility, and I want to get us up to this level so that this club and these fans get what they deserve. There's no takeaways for me, but I think for us as a team, you know that you don't need a reminder that it's fine margins when you're playing against the best, and when you have opportunities you need to take them, and again that was evident today. If we score the first goal, put some pressure on them, they need to open up. We can take control of the game, and we had the chances. I mean, it's different if you don't have the chances, and if you don't create anything, or the opposition have got your pin back, then there's stuff you can learn. But I think what we learned today, we already knew that we've got to be just really clinical in both boxes. Look, every game's going to be hard. It's Champions League. I don't think the next game is going to be any different. There's going to be fine margins. We've just got to make sure we end up on the positive side of the ledger.
Disagree with any of that, Elliot?
No, not at all. Ange always speaks very well. I think that's what a lot of Celtic fans really like about him. He does kind of give an honest assessment of the game. And yeah, especially when you're, no disrespect to Scottish teams, but when you're playing week in, week out, and you're not playing that quality, so you're sitting going, I've seen Celtic have 30-40 chances in certain games over the past couple of years since Ange came in, like teams against Dundee. I remember last year we had something like 25 shots on target or something like that. And you don't get that with Real Madrid, so I think it is adapting to that sort of taking your chances, being clinical, and no team's going to be more clinical than Real Madrid. And it was fine margins and taking your chances, and I think that if we need to learn and we'll adapt, and I couldn't agree more with what Ange said.
One word that jumped out, Gordon, competed, said they deserve to see the team compete at this level. Now, just because you get to take to the pitch at the same time as an opponent doesn't necessarily mean you compete in that sense of the word. But that probably is a good way of summing up what Celtic did tonight. Like, you can't go over the top. Lost 3-0. It's not a close game. They lost 3-0, but they definitely competed with the best team in Europe, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought first half, like every other person who watched the game, I thought they went toe to toe. I keep going back to it and saying, well, a style of football, that's the way he's going to play, but you've still got to go out and produce that style of football.
And you could see that, couldn't you? I mean,
100%.
The game plan is there, and there were times when it worked, but just not enough.
Some of their passing, some of their movement, they created chances. I thought, like probably most people that watched the game, I thought they were very unlucky not to get in lead in that game. I really did. But I think Ange also said the word, and when he used it for Real Madrid, the quality. And he knew that, and everyone inside Celtic Park and every Celtic player knew that. They were up against quality. And the minute that goal goes in after 56 minutes, 4 minutes later the game's gone from them. And you can see then the body language of the Celtic players. You feel tired. Listen, it happens to the best of us. We've all been there. You're in a game, you're hyper, the energy's there, and then all of a sudden 4 minutes later you look at that clock, you're 2-0 down against top quality opposition. It drains you, and there's no disgrace in that. I thought the effort, the commitment, everything was brilliant from Celtic tonight. Unfortunately, Real Madrid second half were too good.
Thank you, Elliot. Nice to hear from you. That was Elliot in Hamilton. Just a final thought before we go, because it's now Rangers' turn. It's very different. It's away from home. It is not as formidable an opponent, but my goodness, still a very good one, and a team that's not feeling so good about themselves from the weekend. What are you thinking ahead of that one?
I love tonight as much as it was a poor result for the Scottish team. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Rangers coming in for a little bit of pressure, going over to Amsterdam. Listen, we know their European performances, we know their results from last year. So once again, I'll be another exciting night and looking forward to it. Going.
Can Rangers do something, Mark?
It's not impossible for them. I think it's a huge one for them. They need to bounce back and bounce back quickly. If Rangers can go away and beat PSV, there's no reason why they can't go away and beat Ajax or get a result against Ajax, who have sold some of their top players. If they play the same way against PSV and their goalkeeper has a good night, because you always need your goalkeeper in big nights like this, especially in the Champions League, then there's no reason why they can't get a positive result.
Will we see any reaction to Saturday in the team lineup, for instance? I mean, will it be John McLaughlin? It certainly sounds like it based on what the Rangers manager said.
I think, listen to an interview tonight, he will stick with his goalkeeper. It'll be interesting to see if he makes one or two personnel changes. I think he may. I think he'll freshen up a little touch. But Mark quite rightly says there, they went to Eindhoven, nobody gave them much of a chance. They had a terrific result, but like Celtic tonight, they'll have to be at their best, and obviously to try and get something over there, defend and play a lot better than they certainly did on Saturday.
I think right now it's not controversial, Mark, to say Celtic are in a better place than Rangers. They're top of the league, they're unbeaten, they've beaten Rangers convincingly. Is there still something about Rangers in Europe that maybe is a little bit more streetwise, or is able to kind of negotiate their way through these? I know Real Madrid was a different kettle of fish, I accept that.
Well, the defensive side of it, I think, is the thing that Rangers have got down to a T. In the Europa League, certainly. In the Champions League qualifiers, certainly. In the Champions League group stages, you're talking a step above again. Now, they need to be much better defensively than they were at Celtic Park, but if the players play to the top of their ability, again, there is no reason why they can't get something tomorrow.
That was a joy to take part in. It was great to share the evening with you to this late hour, 11 o'clock, which we'll do for all the late Champions League games. Yes, it did not go the way Celtic wanted. It didn't go the way Scottish football wanted. It would have been nice to have a scalp of Real Madrid, but there were clearly things that Celtic fans and Ange Postecoglou enjoyed. In the end, it was a 3-0 win for the current champions of the Champions League, and the three goal scorers probably just sum up what Celtic were up against tonight. Three of the best in the business, putting Ange Postecoglou's men to the sword. And it's now over to Rangers tomorrow. Ajax against Rangers, a 5:45 kickoff. We'll be here with Marvin Bartley and Simon Donnelly, so make sure you join us at 6 o'clock for that game and more reaction to tonight. And Grant Thompson is up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. NHS staff use code 67 for 10% off all repairs. Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Land Rover, part of the Lookers family. Be ready for any journey. Book now for service and repairs.